Good afternoon. It is 3 o'clock. I'm Joseph Bonanno live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. The Titans were back on the practice field today as they finish up preparations to face the Vikings on Sunday at Nissan Stadium at noon. L'Jarius Sneed with a quad injury and Leroy Watson with a back injury are the only two Titans out for Sunday's game. Brian Callahan announced that Nicholas Petit-Frere would start at right tackle for the Titans. In college hoops this weekend, number 20 Florida on the road versus Florida State tonight at 5 o'clock. Number 13 Purdue hosts number 2 Alabama tonight at 6. And number 23 Texas A&M hosts number 21 Ohio State at 8 o'clock. And then on Sunday, number 11 Tennessee hosts Austin Peay at 2. In college football this weekend, Arkansas hosts number 3 Texas at 11 a.m. You can catch that game right here on The Zone. And then following that, you can catch the Ball Network call of number 7 Tennessee as they head on the road to face number 12 Georgia. Vols quarterback Nico Iamaleava did travel with the team and is on track to play despite being questionable with a concussion all week. And Georgia running back Trevor Etienne was ruled out on Thursday. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSDN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Yo, what up, Nashville? 3HL is on the air. Brent Doherty with you on a beautifully cloudy day in the Music City. Hope you're having a great Friday. The weekend is here, y'all. Ron Slay is in Charlotte. Going to do some SEC Network college basketball stuff. Don Davenport is safely in Morgantown, West Virginia. So, Mark Mariani back in studio for another Friday.
Golly. Let's go!
Moonshine.
Hey, you guys are gluttons for punishment in here. They're letting anybody in this studio these days. Golly, the door was still unlocked. The seat is warm. I mean, hey, give me a double shot of espresso and let's spew some nonsense for a few hours.
Might as well.
Hey,
we've got plenty of nonsense. All right, if you want in, Fridays are wide open. 615-737-1045. Friday edition. Guess what's coming up tonight? If sports is entertainment, this has got to be on everybody's list. If you have Netflix, if you don't get Netflix.
Yes.
Tonight at 7, the card starts. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Netflix tonight.
Bro, I was worried that we weren't going to talk about this, so I was going to demand bringing this up. I mean, what are we talking about here? Mike Tyson, 60 years old, and he's
58. Don't short him.
Dude, one of the greatest champions of all time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really want to believe he doesn't, but it feels like he needs a paycheck, and so he's doing this fight. But
do you know what the purse is?
Oh, no.
$80 million.
Oh, my gosh.
Jake Paul's going to get 40, and then Tyson gets 20, but if he wins, I think it goes up to 40.
I mean, here's the deal.
That doesn't seem fair.
I've fully I'm hook, line, and sinker on this thing. I have fully bought into all the hype,
Tyson slapped him at the weigh-in.
Oh, dude, every single media thing that they've put out, I've just been consuming it, and I'm just like in this walking with the population, just like a robot walking to tonight at 7 p.m. And I just can't wait. I want Tyson to absolutely knock him out. But I'm a little bit fearful of Mike Tyson's health. A little bit, dude. I mean, Jake Paul is not a professional boxer, but he's juiced up and he's been training. And I just don't want to see the champ get snuck by a juiced up right hook, dude. It would be scary at 60 years old.
So Mike Tyson said that he's gone alter ego, like the alter ego's back, which is Iron Mike. And he said he doesn't really like it when Iron Mike pops back in because he's homicidal.
Yikes, dude. I mean,
like, okay.
I mean,
let's keep our distance.
I know, bro. I mean, like that slap at weigh-ins last night, so beautiful, landed perfectly. I mean, the whole thing. I'm telling you,
and then Jake Paul goes, "I'm gonna kill you."
I know exactly.
Who says that to Mike Tyson?
It's just promotional stuff. They just want us to buy in.
Well, I'm in,
and I am absolutely in, dude. I am all in for this. And I swear, I hope Mike just flattens him. But I just don't know what to expect.
The Lone Phoenix on YouTube says that slap was staged. We know, bro.
It's all staged.
It's entertainment.
It's all staged. Jake Paul's been doing this.
Are you not entertained?
I just cannot believe he got. Well, I can believe he got Mike to do it. Mike's crazy, dude. It's going to be awesome. I'm fully tuning in.
How can you turn down $20 million if you're just sitting around and you're Mike Tyson?
I'm fully tuning in. 100 exactly.
Yeah,
100%. And
plus, it could be more. And plus, I don't know if there's residuals with regard to Netflix. Anyway, he's done a bunch of media. So we found this. This may or may not be funny. We found this clip where Mike Tyson is being introduced by a kid.
Interviewed, yeah, I see. Yeah.
You saw it? So we're going to play this for you. She asks him about, legacy.
Yeah.
And he has such a bizarre answer. Number one, it's fine, whatever. But you're talking to a kid.
I know, yeah.
Here it is.
Well, in your return to the ring for this fight, you are setting a monumental opportunity for kids my age to see the legend, Mike Tyson, in the ring for the first time. So after such a successful career, what type of legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. Legacy doesn't mean nothing. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Someone said that word and everyone grabbed on the word, so now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm going to die, and it's going to be over. Who cares about legacy after that? What a big ego. So I'm going to die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're just dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing. Our legacy is nothing.
Oh, my God.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before, someone say that as an answer.
Can you really imagine somebody say, I want my legacy to be this way when you're dead? Why do you want somebody, you think somebody really wants to think about you? What's the audacity? I think, I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the cares about me when I'm gone? Well, my kids, maybe, or grandkids. Who cares?
Mike, dude.
I mean, just destroying kids.
The kid has a kind of a great response comeback too. I'm just something I've never heard before.
I've never heard that answer before.
Mike, dude, you do have a legacy, and you're one of the greatest champs of all time, and you're one of the most feared dudes in the ring ever.
So funny. If you want to watch the show, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
There's the executive producer of 3HL, Seth. I want to hit on this, and not because I would do it anyway, but because you're in here, it makes it even... cooler to get your take on this.
Okay.
As a Montana Grizzly former football player.
Yeah.
Montana's Money Williams scored 30 points in a loss this week to Tennessee in Knoxville. The story does not stop there. Mike Wilson, who covers the Vols for the Knoxville News Sentinel, wrote on Twitter following the game, Montana star Money Williams lost both of his parents in the past year. He and his sister are raising their 3 younger siblings. He stepped away from the Grizzlies in October before returning. Wilson posted a link to a GoFundMe page created by Money Williams, and it's beautifully written. Like the description of the GoFundMe page, it's beautifully written, and it's heartbreaking at the same time, and inspiring at the same time. But the donation number skyrocketed this week. After the attention at Tennessee, almost $105,000 in this thing.
It's unbelievable.
When I first looked at it, it was like at 25, and this was several hours after Mike Wilson posted this. But just praise to anyone who contributed, and certainly the Tennessee fans that took an opposing player's story to heart.
It's unbelievable, man. And I saw that from afar. I got to be honest with you. Shout out to the Montana Grizzlies and Up With Montana boys, but I was unfamiliar with that story up until a couple days ago as well. So I need to dive in a little bit more. But he comes down to Knoxville, has a heck of a game, puts up 30 in an absolute blowout. It's got smacked, and then for Vols fans and the nation to grab a hold of that and to help this young guy get through an insanely, unimaginable situation was really heartwarming, and I hope it doesn't end there, and all the best. And I truly want to dig more into this story and get more from the University of Montana, because this is obviously a special human being.
So Tennessee player Bishop Boswell also donated. I think he donated $100, but it's not just fans, players on Tennessee is helping out too, which is awesome. Really cool.
He said, our story, imagine losing both the king and queen of your household within a year. That's the heartbreaking reality our family is facing. I'm Money Williams, and I'm reaching out during an unimaginably difficult time for my family. He said, on November 29, 2023, while I was away playing basketball in Reno, Nevada, I received devastating news that my father had passed. At just 18 years old, I suddenly was faced with the tough decision of whether to continue chasing my dreams or set them aside to support my family. Now, just a year later, we've suffered another profound loss. Our mother, LaToya Bailey, peacefully passed away in her sleep on October 12, 2024. This unexpected tragedy has left my siblings and me at a loss for words. He offers a tribute to his mother, and then he said, why we need your help. We've created this GoFundMe campaign to seek support as we navigate this challenging transition. Your contributions will help us. Number 1, cover funeral expenses for our mother. Number 2, provide for our younger siblings' immediate needs. Number 3, ensure stability as we adjust to our new family dynamic. And number 4, supplement educational expenses for all siblings. And then he has a message of gratitude. I mean,
dude.
Phenomenal, dude. And by the way, my guess is he'll be able to transfer to a big-time school next year, and he's listed by some draft publications as a second-round pick already. So,
wow. Yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable.
And it reminds me of what Tennessee fans did for Zagai Ziegler when his family lost their home, and, I mean, just donated. Zeph, what... Do you remember what the final total on that was? I mean, they bought a house.
It was it was close to $400,000, wasn't it?
It was up there. It was a lot of money. It was incredible. It was how fast they did it too.
I mean, when you're just when you're mindlessly thumbing through and scrolling, those are the stories that we need to bring to the surface and a lot more attention to. And obviously, the guy has the whole world in front of him, but going through something crazy. I mean, I just can't even imagine. And for Vol Nation to pick up the pieces and help him, and for this story to blow up, and for him to go on the road in the biggest environment probably of his life and drop 30, was pretty sick.
He scored 30 of their 57.
Yeah, I mean, unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got to think, not that it wouldn't have happened, but you got to think that performance and being on that stage and having Vol Nation get a piece of that and then prop it up and throw gas on that fire helped. I mean, got this to the surface.
Well, and now I think wherever he goes and plays, like, I think you'll see similar things happen, right? Like, you know, links to the page and all that stuff. I retweeted it at Brent Doherty. So you can check it out there. But, yeah, great story. 615-737-1045. Scotty is in Gallatin. Scotty, what's up? How are you?
Hey, guys. I got a phone call from a friend today, and he was calling and asking me who Vanderbilt was playing because game day blimp was going around. But they just drove by Nashville to head to Athens. So we got a little bit glimpse of them today.
Well, it's interesting because I saw – let me see if I can pull it up. I saw the blimp, and it wasn't game day. It was it said game day on it, but it had Steelers and Chiefs logos.
So
on the blimp.
It's the promotion for the Christmas games. On the other side of the blimp, it had Texans and Ravens on it.
Oh, okay.
So it's
a Christmas Day game
Christmas
thing.
Games, yeah.
Yeah, but that was weird to see a blimp rolling around. Yeah, Vanderbilt not playing. Thank you, Scotty. Appreciate it. 615-737-1045. That is the number. When we come back, Josh Ward, co-host of Josh and Swain, we'll break down that Tennessee-Georgia game coming up this weekend, and we'll do that next. Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani in the house today. 3HL 1045, The Zone. It's football time in Tennessee. Where are you catching all the college and pro games this season? Scoreboard Bar and Grill is where, but which location is the question? Scoreboard Opry near Opry Mills Mall in Donaldson, or Scoreboard Cedar Creek in Mount Juliet. All Scoreboard locations have plenty of free parking and brand new football menus with new food and drink items, sure to impress anyone. Every Scoreboard has tons of TVs and will have all of your favorite games on with full sound, the coldest beer, and the largest Bushwhacker selection that you will find anywhere. This Saturday, 6 to 10, Scoreboard Opry welcomes back Nashville Yacht Rock Band, an 8-piece tribute playing the best pop and R&B sounds of the 70s and 80s. They only come once a month, so don't miss it. This Sunday, Tennessee plays Minnesota at noon, and we'll be sure to continue your Sunday fun day with the Spasmatics 4 to 7. Scoreboard Bar and Grill. If it's football time, it's Scoreboard time. Scoreboard Opry, Scoreboard Cedar Creek, Scoreboard Bar and Grill.
I want to tell you about outdoor lighting perspectives of Nashville. And maybe you are realizing, I hate to bring it up to everybody, but it's getting darker earlier because fall is here. But now it's finally the time where you can sit outside and enjoy your deck or patio without sweating, right? Don't you need lights for that? Once it gets dark, maybe you want to enjoy dinner on your deck, but you can't see your food. Outdoor Lighting Perspectives of Nashville can help you out. They've been around for over 38 years, been making homes stunning with landscape lighting. Nashville's oldest landscape lighting company. They are the leader in LED technology. They can help you light up your night with festival lights, path lights, wall washing, tree lighting, area lighting. They do the design, the installation, and the maintenance on your lighting as well. Permanent roofline lighting by Gemstone Lighting. They do commercial lighting, holiday lighting. It's safe to say Outdoor Lighting Perspectives of Nashville does it all, and they do it all well. And I can attest to it because we get to eat on our deck now because we can actually see our food with our new outdoor lighting from Bob Lyons and his team. Reach out to them. Let them make your home stunning and enhance your landscape with Outdoor Lighting Perspectives of Nashville. Go to outdoorlights.com/Nashville.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani with you. Slay Dogs in Charlotte for the SEC Network. You can catch them during the college basketball broadcasts.
If you're listening out there, there's a lot of big games this weekend. I don't know, Athens, Nissan Stadium. Give us a shout. What you got, man?
615-737-1045.
Georgia fans are pretty quiet. Phone lines are empty. Where you at, Georgia? Where you at?
We'll get them in here. Josh Ward, co-host of Josh and Swain, joins us now live from Knoxville with the sports animal in Knoxville. Tennessee at Georgia coming up. Ball's headed down to Athens. Josh, what's up? How are you? We'll get to him. Zeff's shaking his head. Got some technical difficulties in there. You can watch the show again, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch. Twitch, please. The F&M Bank chat is open. Let's go back to Knoxville. Let's try Josh one more time. Josh, what's up?
Hey, Brent, how are you?
There you are. You got me and Mark Mariani today, Josh. And I'm curious, what's the vibe in Knoxville? Is it nervousness or excitement?
A little bit of nervousness just because of how big this game is and what it means. But I've sensed a lot of excitement. I've sensed a lot of confidence considering Tennessee's a 2-score underdog in this game. And there's been the uncertainty, at least, with Nico's status. I've sensed a lot of excitement and confidence from Tennessee fans.
I've said all week, I hear he's going to go unless there's a setback. And then I know that he practiced fully on Wednesday, including team drills. So unless there's a setback, he's going to go, and they need him to go. Now, that doesn't mean that, Georgia might not take a 15-yard penalty to go a little high with a hit. I'm not saying that, but in terms of starting a game, I think he's going to be good unless something happens between now and then. Is that kind of where you are?
Yeah, and I think there has been some reaction of, what do you mean setback? What's going to happen? Well, if he has symptoms, if something would show up to cause a doctor to say, we can't clear him to go. But I've heard nothing in anticipation of that. He has gone through the steps this week, as you mentioned, practicing more as they went from Tuesday to Wednesday to really ramp up preparation for Georgia. He was doing more work on the practice field, helmet on with his teammates. So that, I think, was a big sign that Tennessee was confident he'll be starting on Saturday. So right now, Tennessee is preparing for Nico to be the starter tomorrow night.
Mark, you ever had to deal with concussion in your playing days?
Oh, yeah. They're all nasty, man. All the head stuff's crazy.
So when we say setback, like you literally could think you're okay for a couple of days and then wake up with a splitting headache or something.
Well, they're all different, man, and that's why you can't. There's no cure, there's no treatment, there's no anything for them. You got to let them play out, and so that's why there's so much uncertainty, obviously, with the Nico situation. And it's a massive, obviously, Josh, you could tell us, but it's a massive difference with Nico going or not going for this Tennessee offense. So the fact that we think he's going is huge and bodes well for the Vols in Athens for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of the first question or what you brought up at the start, Brent, the excitement, confidence of fans. After the video came out, a couple of days ago, midweek, of Josh Heupel telling the team at halftime against Mississippi State, gas pipes going out there, meaning Gaston Moore, that started to fire up the fans a little bit. I was like, all right, gas pipe, let's go. So we started to get a little, I don't even care who's at quarterback. And I'll say you never know in sports.
Right.
But I would feel a lot more confident with Nico out there at quarterback than Gaston Moore, and I think Tennessee's staff would as well. So I'm not saying if Gaston is needed either at the start or at some point during the game, because nothing is guaranteed over 4 quarters. They couldn't win with Gaston at quarterback, but I'm pretty sure Josh Heupel is calling the game more confidently. There are more big play opportunities if Nico's in there at quarterback.
Wide receiver Dante Thornton, I hear 50-50. What are you hearing there?
Yeah, so most of the conversation has been about Nico, but it seems more of the uncertainty is actually pointed toward Dante.
Yes.
And this is a big deal to me. He's been their best big play weapon at wide receiver over the course of the season. They have other options. They have guys with the ability to hit a big play. Squirrel White had a long touchdown catch at the start of the game against Mississippi State last week. He's done it in the past. Chris Brazzell has big play opportunity. Brew could hit one down the field. Mike Matthews, a Georgia native, maybe he would get an opportunity if they're down another man. But I think the most confidence is in Dante Thornton. But yeah, I think there's been more uncertainty. He may be more of the game time player tomorrow, game time decision player tomorrow than Nico. But I think Dante Thornton's a really important player in this game.
Josh, I feel from a defensive perspective, I feel really confident for some reason that we can stop Georgia's run, especially that we found out ETN is not playing this week, I believe. Who else do we have to be concerned about on Georgia's? What other weapons do they have that can beat this Vols defense?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how many carries Frazier gets, the freshman running back. He's a talented player. I think he has 4 games this season where he's already seen double-digit carries. Carried a lot last week against Ole Miss, fumbled twice, turned it over once. But he is a talented player. He's run pretty well. He's a top 50 overall recruit out of Mater Dei in California, big-time school. So he's going to be the guy that leads the way in the rushing attack. Dylan Bell had a big game against Tennessee last season as a receiving option. He's a guy that could be involved in the running game. He's the type of player where Georgia might say, okay, we're down another guy in ETN. We don't have a lot of options back there. We have to manufacture touches, and Dylan Bell could be one of those players that they look to try to do something like that. Smith as well is a guy that I think that Beck's going to try to go to. So he has weapons. He doesn't have an obvious Brock Bowers that terrifies you like a year ago, and that's been brought up over and over again probably the last few weeks. The loss of Bowers and McConkey has been cited as something that's affected Beck probably all season long, but Tennessee can't take those guys lightly. Frazier is a good talent. There's no doubt about that. Let's see how ready he is to be the number one guy. And Tennessee's going to try to knock that ball out. As I mentioned, fumbled it twice last week. Tennessee's going to think takeaways here. Put the ball on the ground or take the ball from Carson Beck with the way he's turned it over.
Yeah, Georgia 15th out of 16 teams in the SEC in rushing. How does Tennessee running back Dylan Sampson get in the Heisman mix?
If he has another big game, he's had one pretty much every outing. He's gone over 100 yards in all of Tennessee's games except one, and that one he went for 92 yards on the ground on the road against Oklahoma. If Dylan has a big game and Tennessee wins this game, then I think maybe he starts to get some attention because Tennessee all of a sudden will be talked about as a legitimate national title contender because the Vols will be in the driver's seat to go to Atlanta for the SEC title game, and you'll have the national stage on ABC. I think if Tennessee's going to win this game, Dylan probably has to have a pretty good game based on how this offense has gone this season.
Yeah.
I think if he has a big game and Tennessee loses, he should start to get more attention. But we know how this award works, especially at his position. So if Tennessee wins and Dylan has another big game, I think he's going to have a feature on College Game Day tomorrow as well. So he'll get some pregame coverage before they kick off tomorrow night. But something's got to be done because I think Dylan should be the favorite right now to be SEC Offensive Player of the Year. And let's say he doesn't win the Heisman, because I don't think he's going to win the Heisman Trophy, but he should get more attention as, I think, the best offensive player in the conference. And if he doesn't win the Heisman, maybe he gets more attention for the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, because in a league where quarterback play has been kind of all over the place, Dylan should, I think, get more attention because of that.
Georgia has struggled up front on the offensive line. They've been dealing with some injuries, too, and their best guys have been nicked up for sure. But sacked 5 times, Carson Beck last week against Ole Miss, and we pointed out the running issues. That's another opportunity for Tennessee's defense, which is statistically and eyeball test very, very good.
Yeah, Tennessee has to see what Ole Miss did last week and think we are going to eat all 4 quarters in this game. And it's not the same situation. Georgia was on the road. That's a different dynamic for Georgia's offensive line up front as opposed to being at home and having the crowd behind them. So I recognize that, but I also recognize James Pierce out there and Joshua Josephs and Tyree West, who looks like he's back, and all the guys they have on the interior. Georgia's going to try to get something going on the ground to help Carson Beck. As we mentioned, that's been a challenge this season. Tennessee's rush defense has been had the last couple of weeks at times. Kentucky and Mississippi State were able to hit explosive plays on the ground. But in terms of getting after the passer, they have interior pass rush guys. Omar Norman-Lott, I think, is one of the best interior pass rushers in the country. Omari Thomas, Bryson Eason. Tennessee just goes so deep. So they have elite rushers. They have legitimate depth, as good of a rotation as you're going to find in college football. So getting after Carson Beck and forcing him to make mistakes. Let's see, does Georgia try to move him a little bit more? That's something we've talked about other teams trying to do against Tennessee's defense, because to this point, it seems the results are if Carson Beck's trying to hang in there in the pocket, he feels that pressure. It affects what he sees. It affects everything that he's trying to do within the offense. And I think that's led to a lot of his mistakes, either throws being off or him giving the ball up. Tennessee's going to try to make him do that again.
Josh, we're talking about a lot of matchups that I'm just sitting in this seat thinking that's leaning toward the Vols. I mean, this defensive line, that rushing. Where is Georgia? Where is the edge go to Georgia? Why is this a double-digit point spread? For Georgia, is it just because it's between the hedges, or where can they hurt the Vols?
Well, that has to be part of it. Georgia back at home. Georgia hasn't been home in more than a month. They haven't played a night game at home, I think, in more than a year. So that with I think the proven track record the program has over the years when they've faced pressure, they've been in a big spot, maybe doubted that they've responded. And Tennessee on the road has had its issues. They went to Oklahoma earlier this season and won. And I still think that carries some weight because the players experienced that. They experienced that crowd the way that it was. But the last time Tennessee was on the road, by the way, more than a month ago, they played poorly. That was a rough game on both sides of the ball. Honestly, they held Arkansas to 19 points, but the Razorbacks kind of shot themselves in the foot and had a quarterback injury that kept them from scoring more points. They didn't look good on the road the last time, and now they're going into Athens. But to your question about the player matchups, the Jimmies and the Joes part of it, Tennessee matches up better this time than I think we've seen in the last few years. And 2 years ago, Tennessee went and as the number one ranked college football playoff ranked team, and there was a lot of excitement about what they could do. But they kicked that game off, and pretty quickly we realized line of scrimmage, there's going to be a big problem. I think Georgia defensively probably feels like it can win against Tennessee's offensive line in a lot of ways, but Tennessee's defensive line has the advantage, I think, going in against Georgia's O-line. And Tennessee up front on offense can still win battles. They have Cooper Mays, who's been terrific, Javonte Spraggins, who's played a ton, and tackle play has maybe gotten better there. So Tennessee can hold its own more up front than I think we've seen at any point since Kirby Smart got it going at Georgia and has lined up against Tennessee. It's been lopsided since the winning streak began for Georgia. It should not be this weekend.
Josh Ward with us from the Sports Animal in Knoxville. All right, Josh, what is your prediction? Am I going to hang up on you?
Well, maybe.
I was there for that. I didn't like that, Josh, by the way. I had your back, even though you picked against the boys.
I appreciate that. Well, you're just asking point spread, right? Because I've got Tennessee covering. Is that your question, Brent?
That is not the question. We want a score prediction.
Freedom of speech, Josh. I'm going freedom of speech today.
Good teams winning, great teams covering. I think Tennessee's going to cover this weekend in Athens.
All right, what's the score, Josh?
But I don't think they're going to come back home with a win.
Oh. Well, then what does that mean? Did you hang up on him?
No.
Okay, gosh.
I think it means Tennessee wins because I did pick Bama. Tennessee's been an underdog twice, right? They were an underdog against Bama. I thought Bama would end up getting the win. I thought it was a toss-up, and I was wrong. Bama came in, and Tennessee won over those 4 quarters. So I'm 0-for-1 picking against Tennessee. So I should be 0-2 after tomorrow night.
So you're just rolling with favorites. That's what's going on.
Brent had his finger on the trigger.
How cop-out is that?
It is a cop-out. Really quick, before you go, though, what would that mean for the Vols? Just help educate me sitting here in the playoff picture and everything else.
Yeah, and I'll also say part of it is I need to see Tennessee on the road against a really good team because I think Georgia's still really good.
That's fair.
Get the win. What does it mean if Tennessee doesn't come back with a win? And they're going to need to win out to get to the playoff. I think everybody recognizes that. So let's say they do. Let's say they beat UTEP and they beat Vanderbilt and get to 10-2. I still think Tennessee has a great shot to get in. I think Tennessee, if it loses, does need to play a competitive game. If the Vols go down there and look bad for 4 quarters, then that's a different story. But if they play a competitive game and lose against a team that's favored by 2 scores and everybody else recognizes is really good, maybe they end up needing some help. But I think there's a good chance that they can get it over the next 3 weekends. So I think Tennessee's in at 10-2 as long as it looks the part along the way. Lose the game and look bad, and then you leave it up to the committee to help you out.
Biggest game for Tennessee since 2001. Just a massive opportunity. Having said that,
it's a huge game.
Yeah, you talked about if they lose. If they win, they're in the top 4 in position for a bye. So this is massive game on Saturday. Can't wait
if
for
Tennessee wins, then they're in a position where they're most likely playing for, at worst, a home playoff game. Meaning if they go to the SEC title game and lose, I think they'd still get a home playoff game.
Right.
So you could either get a first-round bye and an SEC title for the first time since '98, or you play in Atlanta, big stage, and then you come back home at Neyland Stadium in the first round of the playoff and have a huge advantage.
Good stuff, Josh. Appreciate you, brother.
You got it. Thank you, guys.
All right, have a great weekend.
I am fired up, bro.
I love breaking down this game. This is a fascinating game and just a massive game. Josh Heupel said, and this is so true, he said you earn the right to play big games. And that's where they are.
It gives me the chills, dude. And think about it, what we just on the flip side, Georgia's season would be over. I mean, there's no way they're in the play. I mean, it's
not
over.
At 9-3.
Yeah.
And I mean,
no way. No, there's no way.
No. I started to say I'm not sure they walk over Georgia Tech either with Haynes King back in the mix. That guy's good at quarterback.
Regardless, it's massive.
Massive.
Oh, man, I got chills.
Georgia now a 9.5-point favorite. The game is on ABC at 6:30. You can catch it right here on 104.5 The Zone. Georgia's looked shaky last couple of games. They struggled much of the way in their win over Florida. Florida, of course, lost Lagway in that game, and then Georgia took kind of control. And then they were manhandled last week at Ole Miss, falling to the Rebs 28-10. Bulldogs will be without their top running back, Trevor Etienne, as we were talking about. Georgia struggled to run the ball this year, 15th in the SEC in rushing. Last week at Ole Miss, Georgia had 33 carries for just 59 yards. Tennessee, number 2 in the SEC against the run, behind Ole Miss, who just handled that rushing attack from Georgia last week. What's up with Carson Beck?
How much money did he lose by coming back this year?
Well, he got a Lamborghini. And then
he's making money down there, I guess. But I was thinking of the NFL draft. But, dude, here's the other thing. Even again, their best win of the year, one of their biggest wins of the year, Georgia against Texas, huge game. He threw 3 picks.
And no touchdowns.
I'm like, dude, what? He just is
Georgia's
giving the ball.
defense, and this is what could happen, honestly, against Tennessee. Georgia's defense won that game for them.
Yeah, that's true. And the other thing is when you go out there like Ole Miss did, and dominate the line of scrimmage and make them one-dimensional, that's when you start throwing the ball. We'll talk about that with the Tennessee Titans as well. But I'm telling you, if you go take away one phase of offense against the Bulldogs, like we saw last week, they are in a world of hurt, man. They're in a world of hurt.
You've got to stop the run, number one.
Without question.
If there are 3 priorities in this game, it's turnovers. You cannot give Georgia the short field.
Yep.
In that environment, can't do it. Make them drive the field because I'm not sure they can more than a couple of times. Run the ball. Stop the run. That's it.
It's a simple game.
Yeah. Maybe hit a couple of deep shots.
How much of a luxury, are we going to break? How much of a luxury is it for the Vols, which I don't know how many years I've been covering them, but it hasn't seemed like we've been saying this, to have one of the nation's top-ranked defenses every week, throwing it out there. A defense that can stop the run. I mean, we haven't stopped the run. Coach Mack's breakdown of the Vols run game was fascinating this morning, by the way. I don't know if you heard it. But not only can stop the run, but flat out get after the quarterback. You just heard Josh Ward talk about the interior rush we have. We'll talk about James Pierce on the outside. It is nasty, and Carson Beck's about to find out.
I mentioned to Coach Mack, I said, Tennessee's run defense has been leaking a little bit. And he goes, have you gone back and watched it a second time? I know you do. And I said, I haven't yet. This was earlier in the week. And he said, when you go back and watch, you'll see. They had 5-man boxes. They wanted them to run the football because they didn't think that Mississippi State could beat them running the football.
That's right.
So you sacrifice, trying to go for that big-time blowout win as opposed to winning the game and doing what you need to do to get out of there with a win. And that's what they did. So he said, I don't think they were leaking. I think it was by game plan. Not that you want people to run on you, but when you give them that box, they're going to run. And he said that was obvious game plan.
And Mississippi State hit a few chunk plays, a few draws on long yardage situations, but to rack that yardage up. But in a game that's going to be tightly contested, like you're saying, you cannot give Georgia a short field. You have to, a punt and getting a 40-yard net is better because they're going to have to earn every yard against this defense if you can stop the run. Because if you can stop the run and make them one-dimensional, it is on for that defensive line to get after Carson Beck.
Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani, Mayor and Moonshine with you on a Friday in the Music City. More on Tennessee, Georgia. There's some other college football games that are pretty big. What to be watching if you're following the college football playoff. There are a couple of big games with regard to that might be flying under the radar a little bit. Also, Titans, Vikings. We're going to get into that matchup as well. Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani, Mayor and Moonshine, 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, man? Now, you understand Delicious has been trending at Shoney's for over 75 years, so guess what? Let's eat. Yeah, buddy. Any one of the locations, any one in Middle Tennessee is wide open for you. Clarksville, Dixon, Lebanon, or the one right there in Nashville on Donaldson Pike. That's where you can go and find it and get you some good food. Always good. All You Care to Eat Fresh Food Bar is ready for you on breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And listen for this. Thanksgiving is just a few short weeks away, and do we have a place to take the family? That's Shoney's. Starting at 11 a.m. on Thursday, November 28th, Shoney's will be serving up a Thanksgiving feast at their fresh food bar. And the best part is, as we know, is all you care to eat, from the freshly carved turkey to those mashed potatoes and gravy, all the other fixings that you can get for Thanksgiving. With every purchase of the fresh food bar, you'll receive a free slice of pumpkin pie to top it all off. You can't name a better spot to check out for Thanksgiving feast. Let's Shoney's do all the cooking and hosting this year. Make sure to stop by at any Middle Tennessee location. I gave them to you: Clarksville, Dixon, Lebanon, and on Donaldson Pike in Nashville. It's Shoney's. Let's eat.
Stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Listen up, homeowners. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's all-new Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all that debt and get a fresh start for the new year. All you have to do, call Loan Pronto now. See how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week you could be credit card debt free. Don't wait. Get your cash fast. Call 615-499-5780. LoanPronto.com at 615-499-5780. LoanPronto.com. Loan Pronto, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
3HL 1045 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani. We call him Moonshine. Everybody calls him Moonshine.
And even though it's, 3:45 on a Friday, the weekend is here. It has begun. So let it fly. Loosen up, let it fly, go home.
Doesn't it look like a winter day out there? I know it's not. I mean, it's a little chilly, but it just looks like winter outside with the clouds and the darkness. And
I'm soft, so yes.
You're not
it's
soft.
A little
You're
chill.
from Montana.
I know it was a little chilly walking in here. I was, running through the parking lot, but the only thing that's keeping me warm and fuzzy is this 7 p.m. Central Time boxing match between the champ, Tyson versus Paul. I can't wait. Let's go, baby.
615-737-1045. You want in? Real quick, the Preds are second to last in the West. They play in Calgary tonight at 8 o'clock. Calgary, the hockey community calls them. The Preds have lost 5 out of 6. What's going on there, Moonshine? I know you're a big Preds guy.
I've been to a couple games this year, man, and I'll be honest with you. They're fun to watch. They're not getting wins,
fun to watch,
but they're skating faster, and I don't know, man. I just think this, you guys know me well enough now. I'm just a homer, major homer, but we're going to get hot. We just need a little time to gel. There's way too much talent and skill on this team, especially offensively, to not get hot. So it just sooner than later would be nice. It'd be nice if they started that turnaround like tonight in Calgary against the Flames. Hey, by the way, that's where that's my neck of the woods. So they're up in the beautiful country of Alberta. I mean, it is just great landscape up there. They drive like 400 miles south. They'll be in I don't want her, you can have her, Montana, baby.
So what's between Havre and Calgary? Nothing?
A whole lot of nothing, bro. No, absolutely nothing. You will not find yourself lost up there. Do not go up there.
By the way, I haven't watched the newest episode of Yellowstone yet.
Me neither, yeah.
That they just put out there, but I did go back and watch the first 8 of season 5 to reacclimate myself.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. But there's not a lot going on out there.
Not in that part of the world, no. I mean, there's better, more beautiful places around, but when you get up there, you're just either, hanging out or playing hockey. That's basically it.
Titans rule out cornerback L'Jarius Sneed and right tackle Leroy Watson. So the problems at right tackle continue. I don't know if it's any better if he's in there. NBF's going to start at right tackle. So
is that true?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That is not the reaction you want to hear.
Well, come on, man. I've been saying this all year. Listen, we haven't started talking Titans yet, and we're going to dive into it. But that right tackle situation is really an Achilles heel. It's a massive issue each and every week, and you see where a lot of these sacks are given up. You see people just getting absolutely beat down one-on-one on the line of scrimmage, and you go, oh my gosh, there's that right tackle again. Who is it this time? Is it Ojoku? Is it Watson? Is it MPF? But my problem with MPF is not about his physical ability. It's about his get mean, dude. You're literally playing one of the most physical positions there is, and some guy is literally coming to try to steal your paycheck and take the food off your plate. So
and
please,
kill your quarterback.
Yes, dude, that's your job. I've been saying this whole time. I'm a huge NWI fan. Let's put him at right tackle. At least he gives a damn. Hey, I want somebody who steps up and goes, hey, I take it very personal. This means something to me. I may not have the footwork and handwork, whatever. NPF is a high draft pick. He has a lot of potential. We need that coming out of Ohio State. Listen,
so get mean.
Just show us that you care.
Yeah, and I mean, you're getting another opportunity. This is your chance in the league. You know what I mean? And it's like you go on the defensive side of the ball, and you talk about Dr. Gibby, Jack Gibbons.
Yeah.
15 tackles last week.
Dude, played all 60 snaps.
So they bring in a guy from Seattle who can't even get on the field, who told the media is like, why would I be on the field when he's killing it? I mean, he's absolutely killing it. So, second chance for Gibby. Ernest Jones goes to Seattle. Since then, 37 tackles for Gibbons in those 3 games.
I mean, listen.
That's taking advantage of an opportunity.
And that is what I'm saying. I mean, you're on a 2-7 football team now, and that's the reality of it, all right? The playoff picture doesn't have you in it, boys. So what do you got to do? You got to take it personal, man. This guy, this DN you're lined up against, is coming to steal your paycheck. He's making you look like an idiot on film. That's his job. He's coming to get after your quarterback. And whether it's Will Levis or Mason Rudolph, that right tackle situation is a massive issue. And it was MPF's to start the year, all offseason, last year, whatever. He's got to go take it, man. And the reason I'm so fired up about it is has more to do with his off the field kind of like commentary about it and how it's gone down and whatever. Look yourself in the mirror and get a little angry that like you're graded out so poorly and you're giving up. Your quarterback's is relying on you to not get his face mask bent in half. I mean, dude, every single week he's back. And that's why, we keep throwing guys in there. At least I want to see somebody like man up and just take responsibility and some ownership in that position, because if we can just solidify that a little bit, maybe we can get some things going offensively. But we have so many negative plays each and every week. We are just shooting ourselves in the foot over and over and over and over. But a lot of it has started and stemmed from that right tackle position.
So with NPF coming up, Callahan obviously announcing that he's going to start. He also said that they're going to elevate Isaiah Prince off the practice squad, and that those will be the two right tackle guys on Sunday. Not sure if they're going to rotate. He said that Prince might play a little bit, and they'll see, but it could just be NPF all game.
I mean, Callahan also talking about, what do you want me to do? We have the guys that we have. It's not like I can, create one in a video game and put him out there, hologram.
I'm standing here I feel that MPF has the ability to play this position. I think it's a mindset issue. And I'm going to go back to the 7 sacks against the Chargers. Mm-hmm. We love to, as Monday morning quarterbacks and behind the microphone, we love to talk about the O-line and blame it all on the O-line. It's most certainly not. I mean, there is so much that goes into giving up sacks, from front identification to blitz pickups and sliding coverage, sliding protections, and so much. Getting rid of the ball when you're supposed to get rid of it, finding what half the field or what third of the field to be working at any given time, getting from one read to the next. But so there's a lot that goes into taking 7 sacks, and a lot of it is on Will Levis as well. But from an individual standpoint, this position for the first 9 games of this season has been absolutely abysmal for the Tennessee Titans. That is MPF's responsibility. That is his job. They gave him that right tackle position. He was drafted here. You played at Ohio State. You've been playing great edge rushers your whole college and pro career. Take some accountability. Make it so we're sitting here saying there is no question who's starting at right tackle. We have a great right tackle, or even a good right tackle on the field, on the team who wants that position. We should, every week we're sitting here and saying who's going to play right tackle. Why? That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we don't have anybody that comes in there and says, that's my job. I'm going to get it right. I'm taking it personal. And we haven't seen that.
The one thing I know about this team in 2025, the 2025 right tackle is not on this roster.
Well, I know. So are we going to go back to blaming J-Rob again? That seems like an easy target. Golly.
I think there's going to be another offensive lineman going quickly for the Titans in the first couple of rounds.
Okay, then let's go back to Jack Gibbons then. The Jack Gibbons mentality for NPF. You guess what, bro? Not NFL stands for not for long.
Right.
And you get 9, you're basically gifted 8 more games to start this position, right? Go make some money, bro. This is about your life and your livelihood.
Get another chance,
Never. This is filmed for you, dude. And all you're doing, everybody at the right tackle position, I am kind of singling out NPF. All you're doing is giving DNs great tip films and making other people money.
The thing is,
screwing up our offense.
So giving.
The thing is, at the beginning,
golly, now I'm fired up.
Before the season in training camp, when he finally came back after sitting out, and his first media availability, they asked him, and he goes, "Well, I've won this job twice before. I'm going to do it a third time." Where's that MPF? I haven't seen that all season long.
When he was out, I was told that he's the guy, even though he's not out here. That's how much confidence they had in him right then.
Well,
but man, it's gone.
But let's dig a little deeper, minus the gambling thing. Why'd you lose the job, bro? Why are people taking your job? Well, dude, if someone walked through this door and said, "Brent, get out of the seat. I'm doing the next 2 hours and 5 minutes." You're like, dude, this is my job.
Yeah.
And we're going to throw hands. Bro, you have 8 games.
That'd be a hell of a scene on the YouTube channel.
Hey, also, you guys know I have the cleats in the back of the trunk. So, hey, if you need someone to come and, give us a little attitude on the right tackle position. Yeah. I got you. All $1.85. I'm ready.
4 o'clock hour coming up. I want to get Moonshine's take on Will Levis's return and his performance. I'll go back to my positive stats that John Glennon threw out there and throw that at Moonshine. But if you want in, 615-737-1045. Also, Greg Cosell coming up at 4:20. This is 3HL 1045 The Zone.
You can get in the game with Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. We just got a brand new door installed on our patio out to our backyard from Pella this morning, and they were phenomenal. Now, we already knew they were phenomenal because they replaced some of our windows in our home, but our door had started to rust, so we added a new door as well, and they showed up a little bit early. They did a phenomenal job. The new door is absolutely gorgeous. And we are now ready for winter because it is sealed way better than our old door ever thought about being. And it looks way better. It is beautiful. And if you are in need of new doors and or windows, Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville, who you need to call. I've had a wonderful experience with them, and I know you will have the same. They have an offer for you, 50% off qualifying installations and no money down, no interest, no payments for 12 full months. 615-249-1910 is your phone number, or you can easily schedule your free consultation. Check out that special offer I mentioned. Tell them Dawn sent you. Just go online, PellaNashville.com.
I want to tell you about my friends at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. DickensSupply.com is the website. That's where you need to go to make sure you are doing everything to keep up with the weather with regard to your lawn as we head into the fall. And my guy Trey Hartsook is here with more. Trey, what's up, brother?
Brent, what's going on, man? I'll tell you, right now is the time of year where if you overseeded in the fall, it's coming up, it's looking good. But something we really need to do, need to make sure that we're doing our fertilizers to keep pushing that grass as the weather starts to cool down a little bit. What we don't want to do is get it up looking good and then kind of start losing our color because of the colder temperatures. That's why that turf plan is so important, Brent, and it's easy to follow. It's just, hey, come in once a month, get what you need, put it on the lawn, and you're going to have a great lawn. Also, a great time of year, Brent. The mowing's probably done for the season. If you need somewhere to take your machine to get it serviced, we can do that for you. Also, here coming up in the next month or so, we'll start offering our pickup and delivery. So if you need that mower picked up, we can do that. Come get it serviced, and take it back to you. Great time of the year also. I know it doesn't seem like it, but if you want a new mower, Toro is doing a ton of promotion stuff, 0% interest, a ton of great deals going in because you know it's inevitable. Next year you're going to need to cut your grass, so why not take advantage of a good deal? Stop in and see us. We'd love to talk to you about it. Conveniently located all over Middle Tennessee. Got locations in Nashville, Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Bellevue, Brentwood, Lumber, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. If you can't get a hold of us, check us out online, DickensSupply.com.
Good afternoon. It is 4:03. I'm Joseph Bonanno live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Titans on the practice field earlier today as they finish up preparations to face the Vikings on Sunday. That one's at Nissan Stadium at noon. L'Jarius Sneed with a quad, Leroy Watson with a back injury are the only two Titans ruled out for Sunday's game. Brian Callahan announced that Nicholas Petit-Frere would start at right tackle for the Titans. In college hoops, tonight, number 20, Florida on the road versus Florida State at 5. Number 13, Purdue hosts number 2, Alabama at 6. Number 23, Texas A&M hosts number 21 at 8. And then on Sunday, number 11, Tennessee hosts Austin Peay at 2. In college football this weekend, Arkansas hosts number 3, Texas at 11 a.m. Catch that game right here on The Zone. Following that broadcast, you can hear the Vol Network call of number 7 Tennessee as they travel to face number 12 Georgia. Vols quarterback Nico Iamaleava did travel with the team and is on track to play despite being questionable with concussion all week. Also, Georgia running back Trevor Etienne was ruled out on Thursday. For all your foundation repair and waterproof needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a Friday afternoon in the Music City. Hope you're having a great day. It's going to be a fun weekend full of big football games. Tennessee, Georgia. We talk a lot about Vikings in town to take on the Titans and that Brian Flores defense. They're going to blitz and blitz and blitz and blitz. Highest blitz rate in the league. And it's not just that. It's what they show pre-snap and then what they do, because they will fall into zone and confuse you in that way as well. Mark Mariani in studio this Friday. And
I knew it was coming.
Got to get it out of the way.
The blood in the water pick did not go well.
Got smacked.
LSU, a 3-point underdog at home, got smacked.
The universe
Alabama.
was not talking to me about LSU in Death Valley.
Where are we, 5-4 now on the blood in the water? Which doesn't matter as much as the plus number that you hold on to.
Yeah, it's, it is what it is, but we are...
you feel good about today's pick.
Yeah, 5-4. Golly. We've given up 2 in a row. We got to fix it. We can't go 3 in a row.
You going to fix it today?
We gonna fix it. And I got a big old plus money bet for the boys to hammer at the end of the show.
Well, a
big old fatty.
If you get this one, big old fatty. If you get this one, you're going to be, house money time.
Oh, yeah, we got house money just flowing. These pockets are just heavy.
We'll do that at the end of the show, 5:45, Moonshine's blood in the water pick. Again, last week, tough one, LSU +3 versus Bama. Tigers lost big. 615-737-1045. Slade Dog is not here. He is in Charlotte.
He's not in the building.
And if you watch SEC basketball, which Zeph said is a tremendous schedule tonight, you will see Slade Dog on the big SEC network just freaking killing it.
Yep, pretty good lineup tonight. Number 20, Florida on the road versus Florida State, and in-state rivals right there. That one's at 5. Then you got a top 15 matchup. Number 2, Alabama on the road versus number 13, Purdue.
That's a good one.
That's going to be a really good game. That one's at 6. And then number 23, A&M hosts number 21, Ohio State at 8.
I said I was going to ask you, Moonshine. Oh, by the way, Dawn Davenport is in West Virginia. So if you watch Baylor, West Virginia this weekend, you'll see her on the sideline. Detective Dawn doing her thing better than anyone on the sideline. So that's what those two guys are doing. Very appreciative that Mark Mariani decided to come slum it with us and hang out in the studio. Stay away from the brown water for an extra couple hours.
But the weekend has begun. Begun.
Doesn't this look like a brown water kind of day?
Absolutely, dude. Just one ice cube, brown water, warm the throat, warm the belly. It's going down. Watch a little boxing.
Yes, 615-737-1045. Yeah, Mike Tyson against Glass Joe, Jake Paul. He's not Glass Joe. He just looks like Glass Joe from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out back in the day. If you're old enough, you'll remember. Also, wanted to point out, Beastie Boys' License to Ill was released 38 years ago today. One of the great records of all time.
Wow, what a pull. That is unbelievable. It is one of the greatest records of all time.
I saw it this morning, and then Gator Mike also texted me. He's like, you need to mention this. I was like, it's already written down, bro.
Wow.
Again, $80 million person, that Mike Tyson, Jake Paul thing. Tonight at 7 is when all the festivities start. Like the big boxing matches don't happen until what, Moonshine, like 10 o'clock or something?
Well, the UFC, let's talk.
UFC will do it.
UFC always keeps you up to midnight.
Yeah.
By the way, the airwaves are buzzing. We got to give a shout out to Nashville's own Mike Chandler fighting for the first time in 2 years. UFC 309, huge fight against Charles Oliveira, and he's a plus 200, I believe, or a plus 205 for Mikey Chandler. And if you saw the latest
You're betting
pick
on everything,
bro. Well, he's a Green Hills guy, bro.
Yeah.
But hey, if you've seen the recent picture that Mike Chandler posted, good Lord have mercy, dude. Bro has been training, and he is jacked. He is jacked.
So is that tonight?
It is tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Okay.
So we have a boxing, kind of amateur boxing tonight. We have
Careful who you tell that to. Don't go tell Iron Mike that.
Yeah, I don't want to interview him in person anytime soon.
Pigeons at you.
And then we have big UFC tomorrow night. Big. John Jones is fighting. Let's go.
I love it. Also, the Titans rule out cornerback L'Jarius Sneed and right tackle Leroy Watson. NPF will start at right tackle. We didn't address. We went into the right tackle situation. What about at corner? You've got one of the top 2 wide receivers in the NFL, depending on which way you want to go, with Jefferson or Jamar Chase. But Jordan Addison's really good too.
Yep.
Titans secondary is going to be tested.
Titans secondary is going to be tested, and we always talk about playing complementary football on offense and defense, but if you break it down and pull one more layer, you have to play complementary as a defensive unit. And when you have a guy like L'Jarius Sneed out there locking down one of the receivers, obviously nobody's going to put the full clamps on Justin Jefferson. That gives you an extra tick to rush the passer. It frees up the other corner to go play coverage somewhere else, another safety. So not having L'Jarius Sneed on the field is massive. And we talked about it during the break. The Minnesota Vikings offense was absolutely rolling until they lost their left tackle. Now they're a little more vulnerable. So all these things have to work together. If we want a great way to slow down Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and TJ Hawkinson is to get after the San Clemente Triton himself, Sam Darnold, to absolutely get after him.
5 turnovers in the last 2 games, Sam Darnold.
5 turnovers. He leads the league in giveaways. We just saw on ESPN. He leads the league in total giveaways this year.
They only scored 20 3 weeks ago. They scored against Detroit. They scored 21 against Indianapolis and just 12 against Jacksonville. So that offense, despite the weapons, they don't have the run game that they need with Aaron Glenn being banged up. Ty Chandler gets to come back home, which is a cool story to play in Nissan Stadium. But they've been a little disjointed offensively.
But if you're throwing, if you're throwing your corners out there and a little worried about the matchups at receiver, the best thing you can do, man, is get after Sam Darnold, make him hold the ball, get him, and then all of a sudden you can start taking the ball away. And he's also been giving it away in the red zone massively, huge percentage in the red zone. So get after the quarterback. It helps the back end. Let Amani Hooker and the boys make some plays back there. But, we've seen our DBs making plays all year. It doesn't matter who's in there. Obviously, Jarvis Brownlee has been making a lot of plays and getting a lot of snaps for a rookie, dude. I mean, he came out of the gates hot. It's kind of his numbers have kind of chilled out, but it doesn't mean he's playing any different, and he still plays with that absolute dog mentality. And so you got guys like that on the corners because L'Jarius is out. You got Darrell Baker as well.
Yeah.
And so if you want to protect these guys, you got to get after the quarterback. We have seen absolutely nothing from Harold Landry, one of the biggest salaries on the entire roster in the last few weeks. We've seen nothing from him. So as an offense, they are very balanced. They got Aaron Jones, Cam Akers, Ty Chandler, and then you got the passing game. If you want to shut it all off, our D-line's got to show up. Our D-line has got to show up and get in Sam Darnold's face.
Real quick before we break to get to Greg Cosell, because we want to pick Cosell's brain about a number of things, but one of them being Brian Flores' defense for the Vikings. Again, number 1 in the NFL in sack rate, and what they do pre-snap to confuse quarterbacks and things like that. But what was your general sense, and we can get deeper into it later, as to what Will Levis was able to do in his return? John Glennon put these numbers out there. 2 good throws for touchdowns, season best 78.3% completion percentage, averaged the season high 7.6 yards per attempt, no turnovers for the first time this season, ran for a career high 41 yards, and posted a season best 127.5 quarterback rating.
I think the biggest thing was no turnovers, obviously. Those early turnovers in the season have killed us. That was awesome to see. Him making the easy throw, the easy decision was great to see.
So instead of taking the 7 sacks in previous opportunities, he might underhandedly throw a ball to the defense.
But like we talked about last segment, some of those sacks can be avoided. Now, there were a couple and we'll break it down with Greg. There were a couple where there's just nobody was open. So what do you do? But here's the thing that those are all good things. I want to, if I was in that quarterback room, I would tell him again and again and again, stop getting pounded by DNs and linebackers when you don't need to. He is so athletic, man. It's a blessing and a curse for him, right?
The play on the far sideline where he pointed up the field and you're going to confuse a defender who's licking his chops to hit you.
And not only that, there's other ones where you're trying to sidestep a guy or you think you can make a guy miss because ever since you were 12 years old, you were the best athlete on the field. Right? And at Kentucky, you athleticized.
That's perfect.
Athleted people. And now you can't, bro. And guess what? You're best when you're on the move, right? That touchdown, the first touchdown pass, great play action. We're going to talk about Greg. Great ball, right? And your athleticism is such a gift to you. We got him on some designed runs. That was sick. Mm-hmm. Got a big 12, 15-yarder to start in the opening drive.
I was surprised by that.
I was too. We're just trying to get him banged up, but whatever. But the point is now you get in situations where your athleticism is a detriment because you think you can get yourself out of these situations, whatever. Those times when you're about to get smoked, just throw it out of bounds. Or when you're running, just get down, dude. I don't get it. And that's when you get your team in trouble because you're taking unnecessary shots over and over. You think your athleticism can get you out of situations. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, all these guys, they got cinder blocks for feet, right? And why? How many times did they get hit? If you used to sack Peyton Manning, it was like you put a game ball in your locker. Why? Because he got the ball out. Because he couldn't rely on his athleticism. He knew where his check down was. He knew where his hot route was. He knew where the open guy was.
He and Brady couldn't run anywhere, but they could move around the pocket.
And they knew where their outlets were, and that's why you never touch these guys. Yep. As a quarterback, you can't be getting hit like that.
All right.
Real quick, Mark, on your point about what the Titans defense needs to do to manage those wide receivers, about getting sacks. Vikings have given up 3 or more sacks in 6 of their 9 games.
The other thing...
that bodes well for us, except for we had 0 last week.
Yeah, the other thing, Vikings defense leads the NFL in turnovers and caused interceptions. So there's that, too. All right, Greg Cosell coming up next, and we'll break it all down. 3HI 104.5 The Zone. Are you looking to save on internet and mobile this holiday season? Well, good news. Xfinity is having a Black Friday sale. Their best deals of the year are here. Learn how to get your choice of 5G phone on Xfinity Plus. You can also get fast, reliable Xfinity internet with a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited for a great low price. So don't wait. Bring home a new 5G phone and get Wi-Fi speeds up to a gig on Xfinity Mobile. That's a big deal. Or should I say a gig deal? Now through December 3rd, ask how you can get your choice, a free 5G phone with an unlimited plus line, plus get 300 megabit Xfinity internet and unlimited mobile line together for only $35 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com/Black Friday sale to learn more. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees are extra. After the promotion, regular rates apply. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. Gig speeds available via hotspots to Xfinity Mobile. Customers only. Reduced mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Actual internet speeds and data thresholds may vary.
What's happening, good people? Brentwood Jewelry, BrentwoodJewelry.com. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. Sometimes you got to take a deep breath and understand what those 50 years mean. That means the style and the deals are coming to you right now. Holiday watch event. If you love watches like I do, then you need to check out Brentwood Jewelry watch event going on November 18th. Through the 28th. Skip the holiday lines and find early Christmas deals at Brentwood Jewelry's watch event with exclusive discounts on select watch brands. You'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list and maybe one for yourself. Make this holiday season timeless with Brentwood Jewelry. Now, you got to understand, as we all know, Christmas is that popular time and lines get backed up. So it's also time for giving to those that you love. You can do that online, BrentwoodJewelry.com. Looking for something custom and unique? Consult with the custom designer or choose their selection of fine jewelry. Whatever it matters to you, get on top of it right now. Get to 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road, BrentwoodJewelry.com.
Beastie Boys License
Let's
Ill,
go.
38 years ago today, released. Classic. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani filling in. Mayor and Moonshine. Slay Dog is in the chat if you want to watch the show live, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Thank you, Zeph. Ron Slay writes, what up, good people? Just checking in with you guys. Keep in mind, and this is in all caps, which means he's yelling it. It's go Vols because that's all we know. From Slay Dog.
Gosh, I love that guy.
Damn right, Slay.
He'll be on the SEC Network doing his thing, man.
He'll be suited and booted with that clean fit, dude.
Is he going to have an orange tie on?
He said he was yesterday, so I would expect he's going to stick with his word.
Greg Cosell joins us now from NFL Matchup, NFL Network, among other things. Greg, what's up? How are you?
Gentlemen, what's happening?
You going to have a chance to take in that Tennessee-Georgia game this weekend?
I am going to watch that game. That's a night game, right? Is that 7:30?
Yes, 7:30 Eastern.
7:30 for me. I guess 6:30 for you guys.
7:30 for you, yes. And it's
I
weird
am going
when
to watch that game.
When you think about this Georgia team, they don't have the elite playmaker that they typically have.
Nope.
At the skill position, like Lab, McConkey, and Bowers we were talking about. Offensive line hasn't been good to their standard anyway. Gave up 5 sacks last week to a really good defensive front at Ole Miss. And then Carson Beck with 10. It's funny, seven touchdowns, no interceptions in the non-con games. 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in the SEC games. And he's really struggled too. So
he's struggled. I mean, again, I'm just going by TV watching. I've seen a number of the Georgia games, and he's really having a hard time. He's not seeing things well in the middle of the field, and that's concerning when you think about the transition to the next level. Because with the hash marks, there's actually less space in the middle of the field in the NFL than there is in college. So that's something that's a little troubling.
Right, and you'll evaluate quarterback film in the offseason, but just eyeball test.
Yeah, I'll start in January. Although I've done 10 or 11 quarterbacks. I watched them this past summer from their 2023 tape, but, then you have to watch the 2024 tape. Because after I watched Beck last year, I thought he looked like a really good NFL prospect. But like I said, just based on TV watching, it hasn't played out that way this year.
I wonder how hurt he's been just mentally and production-wise, by the fact that Georgia can't run the football. And so it's second and long, third and long a lot.
I mean, he may be one of those guys that is, and most quarterbacks are like this, but usually when a quarterback's like this, they're not viewed as a top 3 pick in a draft. He may be one of those quarterbacks that just needs a lot of team around him. And you know what? That's okay. There's more guys like that than there are Patrick Mahomes.
Well, let's not forget, hey, Greg, by the way, let's not forget, too, we'll talk about Will Levis and Sammy D, San Clemente Triton's own. But it's a lot easier to play that position when your O-line's balling. When you're behind an O-line that's not helping you out, now you look suspect and you're losing draft stock, but maybe it isn't all him. And I mean, geez.
No, it could be. Because what happens with pocket guys, Mark, and this, is if your O-line, if you're not comfortable behind your O-line, it's just human nature. You start to play a little fast. You feel like everything has to be quicker because you know that there's going to be pressure. And you just start to speed up. And when you start to speed up, usually bad things start to happen.
Greg Cosell with us on 3HL. All right, let's start here. What was your overall impression of Will Levis's return last week in the Chargers game?
I thought it was pretty solid. For him, it was efficient. I thought that it was. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. I thought that the touchdown he threw to Ridley was a really nice job because the Chargers tried to disguise cover 2, but the dime corner Taylor had his eyes in the backfield, which should never be the case because he was a deep half player. But he disguised himself out of the coverage, and Ridley ran by him. Levis put the ball on him. By NFL standards, it was an easy TD, but he made the right read, made the right throw. But I thought overall, Levis was more poised, more composed. It felt more comfortable watching him. But I will say this, and coaches will have differing views on this. Levis needs to improve his timing. He's a beat late with a lot of throws. He's much more of a see it, throw-it quarterback than he is a true timing anticipation passer. And in this particular case, it doesn't fit well with an O-line that struggles in pass pro. But overall, you'd like him to be able to be a little more of a timing guy. I mean, for instance, there was a play, I think it might have been the first play of the third quarter. He hit Ridley for 15 yards on a kind of a curl route. And he took a little bit of an extra hitch. And that makes him a beat late, and his arm strength could compensate for it. But what happens is Ridley, as soon as the ball hit Ridley, the defensive back hit him. That ball has to be out just a millisecond earlier. And he's just a little more of a see it, throw it guy than a true timing anticipation guy.
Greg Cosell with us on 3HL. So does that lead to kind of paralysis by over-analysis while the internal clock is going and he holds the ball too long and ends up with 7 sacks?
It could, because if you're a see it, throw it guy, and again, I don't know what's in his head, so I'm not answering this as if I know what's in his head. But I think if you're a see it, throw it guy, there are certain throws in the NFL that you don't see as viable throws because you're not an anticipation guy. I mean, if you watch quarterbacks who are really good anticipation throwers, if you were sitting here, Brent, watching tape with me, and I stopped it just as the quarterback started to separate his hands, there'd be times you'd say, God, I have no idea who he's throwing it to, because it hasn't defined itself yet. But the quarterbacks that have great anticipation, know exactly where to play. I'm talking particularly against zone now, obviously. It's a little different against man. Levis has to wait that extra millisecond, and in the NFL, that millisecond is a lot of time because he doesn't process it that way. So he has to kind of wait to see that it's open in his mind before he turns it loose.
Greg, all that analysis that you just told us about timing and all that stuff and seeing it, do you think in your expertise and all your hours, can he learn to do that? I mean, can he, we're going to throw him into the fire the last 8 games, obviously. He's our best bet long term if he ever figures it out. But can you get to that place where you feel that natural feeling and timing and aren't scared to throw the ball in a dark window when it's going to be open? I mean, what's your thought before I?
Well, that's a question, Mark, I've asked a lot of offensive coaches over the years because, I'm not an offensive coach. And I don't know exactly how coaches teach specific things. And you get different answers. Some coaches say you either have that or you don't. Some say you can improve it a little bit. Some say it is what it is. So I'm not going to sit here and say what exactly the case is with Will Levis because we don't really know the answer to that. But it is something that has to get better if he's to become the quarterback that the Titans want him to be. Because what happens if it doesn't get better, it's not that you can't play quarterback in the league. There are quarterbacks we'd all consider quality quarterbacks in the NFL who are not great anticipation throwers. But then you have to work a little bit around that with your play calling, your game planning, because there's very few quarterbacks, by the way, even the great ones, that have no limitations and no weaknesses. So what offensive coaches do, and Mark, you know this, you played in the league, is you try to play to a quarterback's strengths and minimize their limitations by how you build your pass game and your offense. So again, I don't want to sit here and say that means he can't play in the league and be good, but I just don't know if that can be totally fixed.
Greg Cosell with great stuff, as always, every Friday on 3HL. By the way, my teammates are sad that they're missing you today. Just wanted to let you know. They said that
Where's
yesterday.
Dawn this week?
She is Baylor at West Virginia.
Oh, so she's at West Virginia. I've been to West Virginia.
What'd you think?
Well, I was there when my younger daughter thought that she might want to go there, and so we took a trip there, and she obviously didn't go there, but there's a long time. I shouldn't say it was that long ago, but let's see, she's 28, so it would have been like 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah. Well, if there are like thousands of people like Pat McAfee running around that place, it's kind of a wild place, I would think.
So, hey, by the way,
Randy
speaking
Moss.
of that, isn't College Game Day at Tennessee this week?
In Athens,
yes, they are.
It's in Athens, right?
Yep.
Okay, it's Athens, right? Yeah.
Yep. Greg Cosell with us on 3HL. How do you limit wide receiver Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison for that matter? They weren't very productive against Jacksonville, so I know that they've been talking through that this week.
Well, they're an offense. And by the way, I watched that game pretty closely on tape. Darnold, because he threw 3 picks, if you see that on a sheet of paper, people are going to say, oh, Darnold's being Darnold again. I didn't think any of the 3 picks were on him, by the way. But anyway, that's a different conversation.
Wow, that's interesting.
When you play Minnesota, one thing that they do really, really well, and particularly with Jefferson, is they work between the numbers. So you've got to take away those throws because he throws the ball, the nature of their offense, because Kevin O'Connell has the Shanahan background, has the Sean McVay background. Those offenses work between the numbers at a really high level. And you're going to have to take that away. If you can't take away those digs and inbreakers with Jefferson, who is freakish. I mean, Jefferson his stride length is ridiculous, and he can cut on a dime without having to slow his stride or shorten his stride. And that's really remarkable for a receiver. And he always looks, to me, taller on tape than he really is. I think he's 6'2"-ish. He looks always to me like he's 6'4". But anyway, you've got to be able to defend the middle of the field against that passing game.
You, as a slot receiver, Mark Mariani, you went against Mike Zimmer, you were telling me during the break, and a really blitz-heavy kind of guy. So as a slot guy, you had to be aware of what was coming and what wasn't.
Yeah, one thing we're talking about with
Similar
Levis
type thing,
too is his awareness, his blitz recognition, his front sliding, and with this defense of Brian Flores, talk about how that doesn't bode well.
He just
against the number 1 blitzing defense in the league and all their disguises that they throw at you.
Well, the thing is they could be one of the most difficult defenses to play against in the league, because I don't know if there's another defense that as often lines up with 6 and 7 man pressure front looks. Now, they don't bring 6 or 7, but you don't know who's coming and who's dropping, and you can't guess when it comes to protection. So what they do really, really well is they force you to protect. They force you to keep a back in. They force you to keep a tight end in. And then what happens very often, because not only do they lead the league in blitz, they also lead the league in 3-man rushes. So what often happens is they show these pressure fronts. You protect with 7 and send 3 out in coverage. Then they drop everybody out and only rush 3, and they have 7 in zone coverage, and you have 3 receivers. So they win the numbers game right away. And that's what football is. It's a numbers game. So it's a really difficult defense to play against. But having said that, every once in a while, because they do so many things, there's a lot of voids. And if you can create some big plays, because some are available, then you can hit some plays, which is why they're never the number 1 defense in the league when it comes to yards or anything like that, because there are plays to be made. But this is a real tough matchup, not only for Levis. Mark, it's not only on the quarterback here. Now it's on your O-line, it's on recognition, it's on understanding, it's on cohesiveness, working together. There's a lot of factors here that go beyond just Will Levis.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. You're a slot receiver. You're very closest man to the quarterback. You're very responsible for those hot reads and everything that comes along with it. And golly, like I was telling Brent, it was Mike Zimmer coaching the D when I was up there in Chicago playing against the Vikings, and now this Brian Flores defense got dudes just absolutely flying around. Greg, on the other side of the ball, it looks as though the Vikings offense has maybe slowed down a little bit since they lost. Is it Darisaw on the left tackle position?
Yeah. And they traded for Cam Robinson, who's not been very good, quite honestly.
So where are they? Is that on one spot where they're vulnerable? Where can the Titans take advantage of the Titans defense take advantage of the Minnesota offense?
I would say particularly on the inside. I think the center Bradbury, I think the right guard Ingram, I think those guys are vulnerable. So, this would be a game to me where Simmons, Sweat, they have to have big games. They've got to create, number 1, they got to stop the run. And number 2, they have to create inside pressure on Darnold. And I think that's absolutely critical. But I think the matchups favor the Titans on the inside, and they have to have good games. If Simmons and Sweat are not, when I say dominant, obviously no one's dominant every play, so I don't want people to think they have to, just dominate every snap. But if they do not have dominant snaps, particularly in critical situations, if they can get them, in 3rd and 9, those kinds of situations, Simmons, Sweat, and there'll be others, inside as well, obviously, but they have to be big factors. They have to create that inside pressure and really squeeze the pocket on Darnold, make him play fast.
There he is. He's Greg Cosell. NFL matchup on the ESPN properties. Catch it this weekend. Incredible show. And also with NFL Films forever. Thank you, Greg. Good stuff, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Have a great weekend.
All right. You too, Mark.
When we come back from Toronto, Davenport, Brian Callahan with some interesting things to say about getting Will Levis ready for this challenge against this blitz-happy Vikings defense. That's coming up next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. I want to tell you about my friends at Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. This is the weekend for you to get that next new vehicle. Go peruse the lot, or you can right now peruse the website, GuptonMotors.com. That's where you'll find all of the inventory. And they have a tremendous selection of new, but also pre-owned vehicles. So if you're in the market for a pre-owned vehicle, they've got all kinds of Jeeps, which hold their value better than almost anybody. They've got incredible selection of Ram trucks. Ram trucks are awesome. I know I've driven them many, many times. And right there for you, inventory on the website, GuptonMotors.com. All the deals they have going on this month, right there. GuptonMotors.com. So check them out. Address, phone number right there, GuptonMotors.com. 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee. Went up to see the guys at Gupton this week, as a matter of fact, and Daniel Gupton and his crew. Always smiling, always helping people, because that's what they want to do. They want to help you get in the vehicle that's right for you. So you tell them what you're looking for. They will point you in the right direction. Go take your test drive. Go inside. They will help make the numbers work, and it will be that easy. Whether you're looking for a new or pre-owned car, truck, SUV, Jeep, maybe a Sprinter van, they've got you covered. Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, 3450 Tom Austin Highway, just 30 minutes from downtown Nashville.
I love living in Middle Tennessee. We've got great restaurants, entertainment, sports, and one of the nation's top Ford dealers right here in our backyard. Two Rivers Ford. Remember that name. Two Rivers has been a staple in our community since 1983. They're locally owned. They have a non-commissioned sales team, and they sell below MSRP. They've been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
3HL 104.5 The Zone Friday edition. The big blood in the water pit coming up at 5:45.
Let's go, baby. They're giving out money, handing it out.
You feel good about it, and I know what it is, and I feel good about it too. Do you think people can tell which game you're going to pull by me saying those things?
If they've ever listened to me spitting fire into these airwaves, they know exactly who I'm picking.
I love it. You've turned it to such a local team homer.
Turned into? Come on, man.
You're we with everybody locally.
If there's anything I got, it's loyalty. All right, I'm loyal.
Am I going to feel good about it, Mark?
Judging by your sweatshirt, you're going to feel great about it, bro.
I'm ready for it then.
But honestly,
it's coming up in an hour.
Yeah, it's coming up in an hour. But I mean, talking to Josh, onto a different subject. Wink, wink. Talking to Josh Ward.
Yeah,
and breaking down these matchups, whether you're talking about Georgia running the ball against the Tennessee D line, or you're talking about the Vols offensive line playing better and the defensive line kind of, graduating seniors and not being as stout, whatever. It just felt like every matchup he was talking about, who's the Vols insider, was shading toward the Vols. But yeah, it's a 10-point.
And then he picked Georgia.
Yeah, then he picked Georgia. I'm like, and here's the deal. As we all know, the points are the points. We don't want them. We don't want the 10. All right? No.
Ease him back.
Finger off the trigger. My point is, Josh Ward's calling, the Vols
need to hog tie this guy.
The Vols are going to cover, but they're not going to win. And it's like, hey, bro, listen. Heupel doesn't want to cover. All right?
They don't care anything about that. They want to win and get into that playoff.
Oh, my.
You getting excited? You getting excited? I'm
getting excited because it's
speaking of hog tying you and watching Yellowstone, do you know how to do all that cowboy stuff?
I am a city slicker, bro. I mean, I'm an equestrian, a little bit. I've ridden a few horses in my day, but golly, don't get me. No, I'm not out there. I'm not tough like that, but
You couldn't steer cattle with a horse?
No, bro. And the guys that steer cattle like that are a lot, the real cowboys are a little bit tougher than Kevin Costner. But anyway, I love Yellowstone too. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to send everyone that's flooding into Montana over to North and South Dakota. Let them have those.
Dude, those birds. You've got everybody. Everybody in California is coming there.
Don't.
Now
you're really going to make me drink tonight.
That's the premise of the show.
Yeah.
Just real life.
Don't get me fired up. It's only $4.50.
So when you go back to Montana, you don't go into this cowboy world where here comes the cowboy hat and the boots and all that stuff.
When I go back
You're still
home,
backwards hat,
it's
Mark?
it's a small town vibe, which I love. The pace of life is slow, and people drive 25 miles an hour, and everybody's waving. It's really great. They'd be shocked to see the scooters up there. They would. Yeah.
Do they have Uber and Haver?
It's heck no. Gosh, no.
You can just call some guy down the street.
Nah, your boys are always there to pick you up and Haver. Come on now. But no, not everybody. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm from a small town that's similar to what you'd think of as paradise. But, it's a railroad town. It's a farming town. But it's the people, man. It's the people, dude. Everybody's polite, holding doors, living life. It's a good spot. It's a good spot.
But you're not the cowboy guy.
No, I'm not. No, I'd get bucked off that horse in 2 seconds.
There's a song about that, I think. Brian Callahan talking about, we were talking about Will Levis and preparing for this Brian Flores defense of the Vikings. Very, very aggressive, attacking style of defense. They show blitz every snap. They don't always come. You don't know who's coming necessarily. Probably miss Cushenberry for that reason.
Oh, my gosh,
at center. In terms of pointing things like that out. But Brian Callahan talking about how you prepare Will Levis for a defense that has as much success as the Vikings.
Well, you have to play our rules too. It's a little bit more about how we execute and what we do, as opposed to trying to get too caught up in everything that they do. And you have to have a patience involved in it. It's a difficult scheme to get ready for, so he's going to have to make sure he's spending the time, and we're making sure we're putting him in position to have the answers when he needs them. And that's our job, to get him to that point. Try to make it as simple and easy for him as possible, because he's going to have to diagnose a lot of things on the field that are challenging. So all those things are going to be really big factors in his ability to have success against his defense, and I think we'll put together a good plan for him.
That's a really, really good point there.
Okay.
And I think
what did you take from that?
And here's the other thing about it is that I think is absolutely pivotal that we missed on last week. Your best and most consistent offensive player through 9 games has got to have more rushes than 9 rushes for 44 yards. Tony Pollard has got to be more involved, and you have to run the football. So what I took from Callie's quote there from that interview was, sure, they can do all these things. They can disguise it. They can come from anywhere, but we're talking about a lot of blitzes and pass pro, right? If you are lining up and running the football at them and dictating the line of scrimmage and dictating where the flow of the game is happening and having success doing this, you mitigate all that stuff. Who cares what coverage they're running to when you're running the ball successfully? If the Titans if they're going to have any success, they're going to have to run the football with Tony Pollard mixing in Tyjae Spears. I think the recipe for the Tennessee Titans is to muddy this game up and try to win a low-scoring battle. But to do that, you have to run the football. You have to take care of the football, and you also have to know that getting a couple first downs and punting might be your best bet sometimes. It's just what you have to do. But if you run the ball 3 times and they can stop you from doing it 10 yards, then so be it. But you have to establish a run game because, to Callie's point, they also have to play what you're playing. They have to do what you're doing. You are the offense. You're calling the shots. Don't let them dictate what you do and where you call things, whatever. Where the Titans get in trouble, and where we got in trouble last week, is when we aren't balanced and we become one-dimensional and we're playing from behind and we have to then force our hand and throw the football and drop back more. That is not a recipe for success. 9 carries for Tony Pollard is not a recipe for success. Even though Tyjae Spears gets 7 carries, that's 16 total, still ain't enough. Mm-hmm. That is not enough touches for those guys.
Well, they got the separation of score and I mean, just the calamity of the bad call before halftime where they would have had the lead.
Yeah.
Then they come back, they bounce back, they kick a field goal, get within 3, but then give up the 56-yard kickoff return, short field. Chargers score, 5 and out. Chargers get it back, 95-yard drive where they run it 10 out of 11 times.
Huge shift.
And at that point, you're chasing.
Missed a field goal in there, too. The Titans played a really good first quarter and a half of football. We are out of the gates this year. I mean, if you look at our first half of football, we're winning a lot of games. But I mean, I digress from that. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant, but there were some good things going, but we have to run the football. And especially when we come and these are facts. This is not an opinion. We're a bad offensive football team right now, right? We're like 30th in the league.
You want to know a weird stat?
Yes.
Titans have scored 17.4 points per game. Minnesota has allowed 17.4 points per game.
That is a weird stat. And it seems like, how about this? That's a defensive stat. If the Tennessee Titans can hold the Vikings under 17, we can win this game. But we must. A bad football team, right? We got to run the football. We're talking about all Will Levis's shortcomings and all the stuff he's having a hard time seeing. And Greg Cosell comes on here and talks about timing and throwing it, and he doesn't look comfortable, and he has to see his receivers open and all these things. You know what really mitigates a lot of that and helps with all that situation is when you're running the football really well. When you're running the football and Tony Pollard is getting 20 touches and Tyjae is getting 10 or 12 touches, that's how you win if you're a bad offense. That's how you control the game, by keeping your defense off the field.
I'm gonna go ahead and read this to you and then get your take when we come back. Okay. Also, we've got some other college football games to get into. Missouri, South Carolina, LSU, Florida, Texas, Arkansas. A couple of playoff teams involved in some like shaky, like low-key interesting situations. We've got for you also Titans, Vikings, more there. From Teron Davenport, Brian Callahan said he spent extra time with Will Levis this week in preparation for the Vikings D. They're going through film and working to show him the answers to the test. Callahan said they're trying to make sure they balance not having over-analysis or paralysis. So I want to get your take on that when we come back and do all those things. Titans, Vikings, college football, Tennessee, Georgia, 3HL, 615-737-1045.
Winter is arriving as soon as fall is over. We got to deal with this right now. That's a little windy right there, but don't sit around and wait for ice storms to come through, knock out power, and you lose it, and you be out there looking for a Generac automatic standby generator, not when you can call Cove Generators and get in line now. Make sure you sign up, and guess what? I know y'all thought it was over, but guess what? We came back even bigger and better. With what, Babsy?
A holiday special.
Yes.
What? Yes. Buy a Generac home standby generator from Cove Generators before 2025. So before the new year, and boom, you get a free 10-year warranty from Cove Generators. Oh, yeah. They have financing available. By the way, you got to tell them Dawn and Slay sent you, but they do have financing available. A lot of options, some as low as 0% financing. Certain terms and conditions apply for that, but Cove Generators will take care of you. That's all they do is generators. Give them a call. 931-559-3311. You want to make sure that your family is protected, that you never lose power again, and Cove Generators is who can make that happen. That's Cove, C-O-V-E, generators.com.
Stay connected through it all.
Good evening. It is 5:01. I'm just been on live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Titans getting ready to face the Vikings on Sunday at Nissan Stadium. That game is a noon kickoff. L'Jarius Sneed with a quad injury, Leroy Watson with a back injury. The only two Titans out for Sunday's game. Brian Callahan announced that Nicholas Petit-Frere would start at right tackle for the Titans. In college hoops, tonight, number 20 Florida on the road versus Florida State at 5 o'clock. Number 13 Purdue hosts number 2 Alabama at 6. Number 23 Texas A&M hosts number 21 Ohio State at 8 o'clock. On Sunday, number 11 Tennessee hosts Austin Peay at 2 p.m. In college football this weekend, Arkansas hosts number 3 Texas at 11 a.m. You can catch that one right here on the Zone. And then right after that, you can catch the Vol Network call of number 7 Tennessee as they go on the road to face number 12 Georgia. Vols quarterback Nico Iamaleava did travel with the team and is on track to play despite being questionable with a concussion all week long. For all your foundation repair and whatever it needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
H out 104.5 The Zone. Good evening, fine people in Nashville.
It's 5 o'clock.
Moonshine's here. Mark Mariani, former Titan, Pro Bowler.
Let's go.
He's getting more and more hype as we go through the show. We've got Tennessee, Georgia to talk about this hour. We got Titans, Minnesota to talk about this hour. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul tonight. Do you think
120-minute countdown. Let's go.
Do you think that most people listening are as excited about this fight as we are?
I told you guys. I told you guys to start the show. Man. I took the bait. I have fully swallowed the bait, and I'm getting reeled in because all the promotional stuff, all the sales that they've been doing, they're just, it's all hype. It's all such hype, and it's ridiculous, but I'm all in. And it's almost like watching a car wreck, dude, because I'm like, there is a part of me, 100% I want to see Jake Paul get absolutely knocked out. I want to see Mike Tyson.
Everybody's for Mike Tyson.
I want to see it, but there's also this like weird part of me like, dude, he's 60, he's 58, Mike Tyson.
58 and looks great.
But I'm like, you could actually take a shot from a juiced up Jake Paul and not do so well with it.
This could be per 7 o'clock on Netflix.
I'll be fully tuned in.
So how many pre-fights do we have? Do we know?
Oh, I have no idea.
What time are these guys going to actually?
That's a good point, and I don't know the answer to that. I can't. I'm not that dialed in, but I'm in. I'll be on it. I'll be on it.
Titans rule out cornerback L'Jarius Sneed and right tackle Leroy Watson. MPF will start at right tackle. So, to let you know, Dawn Davenport is in Morgantown, West Virginia, in advance of Baylor at West Virginia. Baylor, a 2.5-point favorite on the road. You can check her out on the sideline on ESPN coming up this weekend. And Slay Dog doing his thing for the SEC Network with college basketball going triple headers tonight, right?
I can't wait to see his fit on the broadcast.
I'm looking forward to that orange tie he hyped up.
Oh, that's what he was saying.
Nice. Well, prove it, bro. Just prove it.
Travis on YouTube says 10 p.m.
Oh, there you go.
But I don't want to miss it, right? So, I'm just going to have it on, I think. And
oh, dude, it'll be on for sure. I just cannot wait. I told you guys I'm gonna hype him up again too. Mikey Chandler's fighting as well. So between those two fights this weekend, Mike Tyson and Mike Chandler, I cannot wait to see some UFC and some boxing tonight.
Mike Chandler from here.
Oh, sorry, Nashville guy, Green Hills. Trains his absolute you-know-what off and has been hyping this fight with Conor McGregor for 2 years. He hasn't fought. And it's time to unleash the beast, dude. Absolutely unleash the beast.
I love it. 615-737-1045. We'll get to the phones in just a second. Again, from Teron Davenport, Brian Callahan said he has spent some extra time with Will Levis this week in preparation for the Vikings defense. They're going through film and working to show him the answers to the test. Callahan said they are trying to make sure they balance not having over analysis or paralysis. The Vikings lead the NFL in blitz rate. They also lead the NFL in forced turnovers and interceptions, which is not a good combination for this offense.
And it's not a good combination for a young quarterback who's having trouble IDing stuff and getting coverage or getting protection slid over anyways. And not to mention when you do call the right protection, a lot of the time our right tackle's getting blown out of his shoes. But anyways, I think that Callie, I'll say this Brian Flores coach defense of the Minnesota Vikings has a massive advantage in the fact that teams have to prepare for all this stuff going on. Greg Cosell came on and told us they lead the league in blitz percentage, but they also lead the league in 3-man rushes.
Yeah, that's
crazy. I can't tell you how crazy of a stat that is.
Yep.
And all the stuff that you have to prepare for that goes into it. So you're going to have Will Levis's mind racing 1,000,000 miles an hour and trying to ID things. And like we talked about, what I think Coach Callahan's saying here is we don't want him out there seeing ghosts. We want him to see it, call it, and execute. And if it's right, great. If it's wrong, just execute what we have going on and don't think about it so much. Flores has a massive advantage against everybody that everyone has to prepare for all this stuff. I mean, it's all about X's and O's and Jimmy's and Joe's, right? But there's also this extracurricular part of the game where the book stuff, where Will's got to prepare for all this stuff. He might be over preparing for some that's not even in the call sheet. So that's a huge advantage and a huge time thing and a huge preparation deal that Flores has against these guys because he's got so much stuff going on.
Fine line between, wanting to inundate your young quarterback with information so he knows what he's going to see, but also you don't want him thinking too much.
Oh, dude, the second you start thinking, you just got to go play
hold the ball too long.
But I want to hit this again. I think it's a massive point. If I was typing this, there'd be 16 exclamation points behind it. We've got to run the ball. If you put a six-man front on and we don't know where you're blitzing from, who cares? If Tony Pollard's going at 6 yards a clip, nobody. If Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears get going, if we can throw in some screen game and get some downfield shots going, we're going to be fine. We can figure it out. Let's put them on their heels. Let's make them think. Let's make them adjust to our personnel and our formation groups and our motion instead of trying to have to, defend against their chess move. But it all starts from running the ball. We have got to run the ball. 17 combined carries last week from Tyjae and from Tony Pollard, who's our best and most consistent offensive player, is not enough.
615-737-1045. Tennessee at Georgia. Georgia now a 9.5-point favorite. 6:30 on ABC. Josh Heupel saying you earn the right to play big games. That is certainly true. Kirby Smart said the leaders of the team are conveying a sense of urgency message to the rest of the team. He's not necessarily doing it as a coach. Georgia has won 28 consecutive home games at Sanford Stadium. 615-737-1045. Chris in Hendersonville next up for on 3HO. Chris, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, thanks.
Good. So I had a question more for Mark and you too, Mayor, of course. So I heard a rumor. My whole family's from Chicago. I know Mark played there and played here in Nashville. It's a connection. I'm from Nashville, family from Chicago. I heard a rumor they're firing Eberflus and might hire Vrabel. How do we take that as a Titans fan and a Chicago fan all at the same time? I would hope he would do good, but is there any seriousness to that or no?
Eberflus is a dead man walking, man. He just had to make changes on the staff, and it's early in the season to be doing that.
It's early, and
it's
just passing the baton and passing the accountability. It's like, hey, offense ain't good. Don't fire me yet. I'll fire my offensive coordinator. Don't worry. But, hey, man, I'll tell you this, and thanks for the call, Chris. I personally, from my seat right here, I love my time in Chicago. The McCaskey family was phenomenal to me, and they're great. The city of Chicago deserves a winner.
Incredible city.
I mean, I was there when the Cubs won. I was there when the Blackhawks won. If the Bears ever get it right, that city may burn to the ground. I mean, it's going to be the best party of all time. It'll be so amazing. So I want that. I would love to see success up there. The city deserves it. I have a feeling that Mama Bear is the one that's holding it together. And if she passes on someday and the team sells, that might cattle prod some change. But as far as Vrabes goes, I'm in the same boat as that. I would love to see him get another job and have some success. I would love to see him go to the Windy City and win some football games. As we've talked about many times, and as we've seen a lot of the Bill Belichick way, and those hard, tough coaches are not finding homes right now because the caliber of player and the toughness that's getting me. There's just a different mentality in these locker rooms. Yeah. But sometimes when you're willy-nilly and you got a Caleb Williams environment, whatever, sometimes you need a little discipline. Sometimes you need a little military feeling and some hard-nosed coaching to get you in the right direction. But as far as the question goes, man, anything the Bears can do to have success would be awesome because I think the NFL is better when the Bears are winning.
The Bears, 615-737-1045. Nathan in Nashville. Nathan, what's up?
Hey, how y'all doing?
What up,
hey,
Nathan?
Good, man.
Hey, I don't know if y'all heard, but Lucas said something on Buck Rogers this morning about it, but the phone number getting leaked again for Beck, like, didn't they learn 2 years ago on this? Like, what's the point of even doing that? Like, I just don't understand that. But anyway, to the game, yeah, man, I'm already a nervous, stressed mess, but I definitely believe that we can do it. But I do hate that they came off a loss. That does worry me, but just like y'all been getting on it, like this.
Nathan, we can barely hear you, man, but appreciate that. Yeah, leak phone numbers. That's a weird thing. Here's where I'm with this. I feel fortunate to be able to experience, because I can't control the outcome, right? Like, I'm a control what you can control guy. Doesn't mean I don't care about that game and will be all over it every second of it, because I will. But how cool is it that Tennessee is in a position to play a game this big? It's been, in my view, since 2001 in the SEC championship game where they've played a game this big. That is exciting. That's what I'm excited about. I know a lot of people look at things differently and get scared and are worried about losing and things like that, but can't control that stuff. Just have fun with it, man. It's a great opportunity for your team if you're a Tennessee guy.
Well, and to your point about Heupel's quote, you earn this right.
Yeah.
You earn the right to play big games. You earn the right to have people looking at you as one of the top schools in the country. You earn the right to come out and be one of the SEC's best schools. I mean, this is not something that's given to you to play big games. You earn the right to have game day, come in and be the biggest, under the lights, all those things. And they've done it, man. They've done it. And the Vols are on one. And that, I sort of love that the line is 9.5, not only because they're handing out free money. Obviously, that's the best thing for me and my net worth. But also, I love that it feels like little bit of slap in the face, like a Mike Tyson to Jake Paul slap in the face. Heupel can use that as bulletin board material. He can keep guys focused. He can keep the locker room fighting and salivating and getting ready for this game.
Yep.
Like, dude, what is this double-digit point spread against the number 7 team in the country, dude?
Yep. And again, I've said it all week. I think Nico starts at quarterback for Tennessee. He's on the trip. I heard that he participated in the entire practice on Wednesday, including team drills. That indicates to me that they're preparing him to start, and they expect him to start, and that's what they've said. So that's where we are. We'll talk more about it when we come back. Also, some of the things that Tennessee needs to do to get a win. I also want to jump into some of these other games, Mark, with regard to Texas and Arkansas. Can Arkansas jump into the college football chaos? LSU and Florida in Gainesville. Lagway is going to play at quarterback for Florida. And South Carolina and Missouri, 2 ranked teams, but a big line for the Gamecocks. 615-737-1045.
What's happening, fellas? It's Big Slay, and I'm talking to all my guys out there. How are you feeling these days? Those are questions I need to ask you. Are you ready to take on the world every single day when you wake up and your feet hit the ground? Do you have the energy and the drive to get to work, to the gym, take care of the family? If so, that's good. That's great, matter of fact. But if you're tired all the time, you're lacking the energy, you're lacking the motivation, you're falling asleep on the couch in the evenings, not because you didn't even work that hard, but hard time keeping weight off, whatever it may be, maybe you're even getting a little grouchy. Well, I got something for you. It's time to get those T-levels tested. You need to get over to GameDayMensHealth.com. 1 in 4 men aged 30 or older, they experience this, and that percentage increases as we age. Here's the best part about this. Your consultation and lab work to find out what's going on in your body is free. That's right. You're under no obligation to move forward if you don't think that they are the right fit. There are 2 Nashville locations, Greens Hills and Hendersonville. Do like I did, man. Go get in the game today with GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Q's
3HL 1045 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani filling in today on a Friday in the Music City. Hope you're having a great day. It's going to be a fun weekend. I just realized I hadn't bet Tennessee money line, so I just went and did that.
Dude.
I had them at 10.5.
Little Michael Jackson, bro? Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
Will Nico go has been the big question this week. Since the second half in the win over Alabama, Nico has completed 68% of his passes, 561 yards in 4 quarters, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 80 yards rushing. We were talking about the Alabama game and when he went out and then came back in. And it was almost like you could tell that a switch went off in him. And remember, we had Mike Keith on after the Alabama game, and he said that exact same thing when I asked him that question. He said, yeah, he beat Alabama. Like, you are who you are now. Like, you've graduated.
I mean,
to that level of quarterback. And he's played like it since. So, you know, people can say what they want about Mississippi State's defense, and it's not good, but they hit a couple of deep balls. And the reason why I say it doesn't matter about Mississippi State's defense is because they have had open shots against everybody, and he hasn't connected on them, but he did in that game. So that goes back to the stats since the halftime of the Alabama game. And Nico, again, we hear he's going to go unless something weird happens. Practiced all Wednesday, team drills and everything. Should be Thursday as well. Should be good.
Not to get too far ahead, but can you imagine the legend around him if he ends up a season where he beats Florida, Alabama, and Georgia?
Wow.
And at that point,
crazy.
You know, you beat Vanderbilt, you're in the SEC championship game. And Tennessee hasn't won one of those in a while.
And hasn't been to one in a while.
Going back to hitting that deep ball, Dante Thornton
4
is a big question mark too. He's
50,
pivotal.
50.
But let's go back to another thing Josh Ward said about this matchup that we need to keep in mind too. A year ago, 2 years ago, when you're talking about Jimmys and Joes, these trench wars were just getting dominated by Georgia. There was absolutely no doubt about who had the better roster and who was just pushing who around.
That's why Alabama and Georgia were dominating everyone. That reason right there.
And especially it's that old thing where you go, first quarter, we can handle it. Second quarter, we can handle it. But when they start leaning on you in the third and the fourth quarter, your muscle and your skill and your strength take over. Well, guess what? The Vols have an 8-man defensive lineman rotation. They have experience. Yeah, 10 guys. They have experience on this offensive line, and so they're built in the trenches now. They're built to run the football. They're built to play 4 quarters of nasty football.
Right. And Georgia might win 24-10. I don't know. But there's not that intimidation factor.
No,
anymore.
And the scales have tipped. That's right.
Right. So for Tennessee, they got to stay away from turnovers. Cannot give Georgia a short field. Make them have to earn it offensively. Go the length of the field because Georgia has struggled to run the football. Carson Beck has turned it over. That's you cannot turn the ball over. You got to make them go the full way. The other thing Tennessee needs to run, they need to hit a couple of those deep balls and take that Sanford Stadium crowd out of it as much as humanly possible and get it done there. Tennessee running back Dylan Sampson, number 7 in the country in rushing, 1,129 yards. That's a little more than 125 yards per game. He's been over 100 in each of the last 5 games and 7 of 8 this year. He's averaging 5.6 yards per carry, a school record 20 rushing touchdowns. He's on pace for 1,505 yards, which would break the school record. Travis Stevens has that. 33 career touchdowns. The school record for career touchdowns is 37. That's Gene McEver 95 years ago. Dylan Sampson, if Dylan Sampson were to come back next year, he's going to shatter, stay healthy and come back and all those things. He's going to shatter every Tennessee rushing record. He needs to have a big game against Georgia for sure, which would also, on this level, this stage, put him in the Heisman talk at least and maybe set something up for next year. But that's imperative for Tennessee.
All those stats that you just rattled off, don't forget, he's doing that in the SEC.
Yeah.
We're not talking, not to be negative, because Ashton JT is a stone cold assassin, killing it. But doing it in the SEC where you're doing it against the big boys week in and week out, that says something. When you're averaging 125 in the SEC, that's big boy football. 20 touchdowns, that's big stuff.
And nine straight games with a score, by the way.
That's an incredible stat. Thank you for throwing that up.
And here's one stat we're not going to speak it, but he's got a streak to break. He's got 3 straight games with the you know what. We got to break that streak.
Which he hadn't had one until that streak.
Yeah, so we got to break that. It's when you drop the ball onto the ground. Don't say the word. Don't say the word. Don't say it. He's got to break that streak. We need to win the turnover battle.
Number 13, Boise State, as you mentioned, at San Jose State. Boise State on the road, a 14-point favorite, 6 o'clock on CBS Sports Network tomorrow. Check out this game if you haven't seen Ashton Genty, as Mark was talking about. 1,734 rush yards, 7.7 yards per carry, 23 touchdowns. And then here's a sneaky one that I think is low on people's radar. Kansas at BYU. BYU is undefeated. They are a 2.5-point favorite. I watched their game against 5-loss Utah last week. That game ended with an incomplete pass for BYU on their own goal line, and then like 5 seconds later, there's a flag for defensive holding. So they get the ball back, first down, they go down the field, score, and win after the game was already over and they should have lost. So a lot of the bet community is going Kansas plus the 2.5 in that game, so we'll see what happens. 615-737-1045. Want to play a bit of audio for you guys. Cole Kublik from Jocks FM in Birmingham and the SEC Network talked about what the Georgia offense will try to do against the Vols D. This is from McElroy and Kublik in the morning. Check it.
Where does the Georgia offense go? And I don't see them just running the football. If they find some yards on the ground, I think it's going to be through some creativity. And even when we go back to the Florida game where they had some success on the ground, think about how much of that was toss crack, an end around, reverse, Dylan Bell. Like that wasn't just inside, outside zone, counter, power. Like that. There was still a little bit of either formation or blocked in a little bit of a different way creativity that opened up a lot of that. That's where I think the difference is going to be. And yes, Tennessee has struggled to run the ball the last few years against that defense, but Georgia has run the ball against Tennessee's defense. And I just don't know if that happens this year. That's where I might be most concerned if I was a Georgia fan.
It's a great point. Cole Kublik, man, former offensive lineman and really pays attention to that part of the ball. But again, that goes back to the matchup you're talking about. He thinks Tennessee can run on Georgia, doesn't think Georgia can run on Tennessee. And he said, look, if Georgia's going to run the football, I mean, you guys heard it, they're going to have to try some more exotic things as opposed to straight up run game.
Well, they're 15th out of 16, aren't they, in rushing the ball? Yeah. So it's not just against the Vols defense. I mean, Ole Miss front shut them down last week. Listen, I'm kind of like everything that we're talking about from the experts picking against the Vols to that we just heard. There's all these edges that are getting thrown toward the Vols, man. I feel good about it. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the recipe, and the recipe is I think Carson Beck just gets hot and he does what he's been doing all year. He doesn't have that one generational talent that he can Brock Bowers you with or whatever, but he's been spreading the ball around. He's got a few guys. He's got playmakers. He's spreading the ball around. They have the freshman running back, Nate Frazier, who can run the ball in place of
and down
Trevor
goes
Etienne.
Frazier.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the recipe. Yeah. So if he goes for 270 and a couple touchdowns and they take care of the ball, maybe that's the way. But I'm trying to figure out the way that Tennessee gets beat, and it's turning the ball over. Mm-hmm. It's been playing sloppy, and it's not connecting on any of those big plays. I mean, they got to hit a couple, but run the ball, baby. Dylan Sampson, bro.
Yep. Let me go back because I was trying to describe this, but I want to hear this again. This is Cole Kublik talking about how Georgia can run, or maybe what they might try to do in terms of running the football because they're not very good at it. Check it again.
Where does the Georgia offense go? And I don't see them just running the football. If they find some yards on the ground, I think it's going to be through some creativity. And even when we go back to the Florida game where they had some success on the ground, think about how much of that was toss crack, an end around, reverse, Dylan Bell. Like that wasn't just inside, outside zone, counter, power. Like that. There was still a little bit of either formation or blocked in a little bit of a different way creativity that opened up a lot of that.
Isn't that weird to be able to talk about Georgia football like that? Like they can't run the ball in a traditional way necessarily consistently, so they have to try these other things.
Yeah, they got to try to scheme it up because they don't have the dudes up front, and that's what I'm saying. I think the matchup lies with the Tennessee defensive line against that front for Georgia, and I just feel like if you can clog up those holes, if you can stop this run better than you have against Mississippi State and Kentucky, I just feel that if you make Georgia one-dimensional and make Carson Beck beat you without his major weapons, he's shown throughout the season that he'll throw you the ball. He'll throw you the ball.
12 interceptions in the last 6 games.
So I'm just trying to figure out a path here, right? And I'm just going through it. If the front can win, if Norman Lott and the boys can handle their business up front, then you make Georgia one-dimensional, and that's a problem for the Bulldogs.
Houdini with a great question on YouTube. We answered this earlier in the week. Has Georgia ever lost twice in a row under Kirby? This is an interesting stat. What year was it? 2016? When Kirby lost twice? They lost 2 different times in 2016. They lost 2 games in a row, okay? Later in the season, they lost to Vandy and Florida back-to-back. Earlier in the season, this is so crazy. They lost at Ole Miss, and then they lost at home to Tennessee. How crazy is that?
Don't do it to me. Don't do it.
That was Kirby's first year. 615-737-1045. Reese and Laura. Reese, what's up?
Yeah, that was quicker than I thought. Bears, bad news Bears. Laura done went in to lay down. She had enough of it.
Hey, Reese. How much cash did you stack up last week when the Vols pistol whipped Louisville?
Well, like I told you, I got 300 on that, but unfortunately I lost 50. Thankfully, I just did 50 on the football team. I knew we weren't going to cover. As Mayor politely pointed out, I missed the score by 3 points. I thought we won by 16. It was 19. I predicted 17-20. So I gained a little over 200. And I got the Vols at plus 10. I messaged Big Slay on Instagram. Did he tell you that during the show the other day?
He didn't, no.
Oh, it was plus 10. Remember we talked the night before, and Babs told me to go ahead and do it, and I said, no, I'm drunk. I can't bet drunk. I paid off my card.
You'll be glad to know that I woke up Friday morning, and I was just starting to put the outline of the show together, and it was like 5 in the morning, and I went to FanDuel, and it was 10.5, so I texted Slay at 5 in the morning to tell him.
Oh, thank goodness. So y'all still got me by half. Y'all always ahead of me. Always ahead of me.
What do you think about this matchup, Reese, dog?
Man, I tell you what, my stomach is nervous, very nervous. Georgia's mad. Georgia's mad that they lost. Georgia's mad that they're not ranked as good as us. Georgia knows if they lose a third game that they're done. All that being said, we're still Big Orange, and we're going to win. We're definitely going to cover, which will give us our 9th win, which me, you, and Big Slay have 8.5. So we're I don't know how much you and Big Slay put on it, but I have $1,000 holding up in my bank account.
Not that much, but maybe more of a significant number than I normally do. But I loved 8.5. All they have to do to get that number is beat UTEP, who has 1 win or 2. I don't know.
Yeah. I would just prefer the money faster.
Yeah.
So I could bet it on other things and pay half of it on Flora's car. But, Moonshine, did you put any money on that basketball game? Because Laura turned the radio off.
Reese,
afterwards, I didn't get hear your blood in the water pit.
Hey, you know I'm a loyal guy. Do you think I put money on that after you handed me that lock? Do you think I did?
I'm hoping you put at least 200 on.
You dang right I did. And I won that fat money line. Let's go, Reese. That was the lock of the weekend, baby. Come on now.
I mean, it really was. If you didn't always pick underdogs, that had to be your pick.
It was it was a beautiful thing, and it wasn't even close. It was over with 20 minutes to go.
22. I mean, right there. You know how many people out there in your audience, I almost said ours, sorry about that. Do you know how many people I made money with that?
Well, I hope, you did. See, that's what we need. That's why our pockets are heavy.
I am mayor's assistant. He's the mayor, but I am here for the people.
God, that is a beautiful thing.
I mean, you realize last year I made like $6,000 or $7,000 betting. This year I'm already up almost $3,000.
What a legend!
You just have a good accountant, Reese.
Don't be saying that out there. Golly, they're
no. I have a very good accountant, and every mile I drive gets taxes taken off. I got so many deductions, I end up still getting a couple $100 back. You know how many cats I feed? I only eat once a day, Moonshine. I eat one time a day because I'm in charge of feeding 32 mouths a day.
Well,
that's why I'm late on the show today. I was cleaning my mini shelter inside today.
Well, I can't wait to read your book when you write your book, Reese. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Well, I might need you to write it because I'm not sure how to read yet. But do you know what time it is, Moonshine?
I dang well know what time it is, Mr. Reese.
What time is it?
Game time. I don't know what time is it.
Football time in Tennessee. Go Bengals. We love y'all. We'll call y'all Monday. Sorry for the late call.
All right.
Good old Rocky Top. Woo!
There he is. He's Reese.
Oh, my God.
He's something.
What time is it? Good time. Woo! What time is it? Good time.
That's Cliff Livingston. Back to a Chicago reference.
I was like, what
Bulls,
in the
baby.
world am I going to do? What in the world is Reese doing?
1045 The Zone will build a field of toys to benefit Salvation Army's Forgotten Angels on December 10th at Nissan Stadium. Middle Tennesseans are invited to stop by between 6 and 6 to donate and help fulfill the dreams of thousands of children this holiday season at the 17th Annual Toy Field Toy Drive presented by First Horizon Bank. More 3HL when we come back. The Blood in the Water Pit coming up next. Stay tuned. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
What's up, y'all? Kellum Stem Cell Institute, Holistic Stem Cell Therapy. I had a good conversation while I was in the dentist's office this morning with LaRon. Had to go get him taken care of, get him little teeths cleaned up since they was out of school. And I started talking about Dr. Kellum. The secretary and myself both have a relationship with him and was like, man, that's a genuine dude. What do you like about him most? It's because he tells you how it is. He tells you the percentage that he thinks is going to work. He tells you as far as the holistic stem cell therapy goes, if or what you should do. Like, he walks you through the process. It's an 80% chance, 90% chance. I'm going to be honest, you should go this way and see what it does. You do that, man. Go find out and get your story today. You meet with Dr. Kellum, get your consultation at 615-850-4415. Find out how genuine he is with you. See how holistic stem cell therapy can work for you. It's your body, your cells, your solution. I did it. You do it too. KellumStemCellInstitute.com.
All right. Well, I think we can all probably say our Titans are not going to be in the big game, but it is never too early to start thinking about the big game. And this November, Zen Sports, the newest sports book right here in Tennessee, has launched a brand new sweepstakes for all its Tennessee customers. The Big Game Sweepstakes, where you could win a grand prize of 2 tickets to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans or $10,000 cash. And what's more, Zen Sports will also award 50 additional prizes, including 2 tickets to any Tennessee sporting event or $100 cash. If you want in, earn multiple entries every day by betting on the Zen Sports app. Download it on your phone, and for every bet you place, you earn an entry. Every dollar you bet, you earn another entry. And if you like parlays, like my co-host here, earn double the entries on every parlay placed. What are you waiting for? Sign up for Zen Sports, and you'll automatically earn up to $100 no-danger first wager. First bet loses, you get reimbursed for the amount of your bet, up to $100. So go ahead and start betting with Zen Sports. Download their app today. Zen Sports, where betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. No danger. First wager limited to plus 500 odds to qualify. Terms and conditions apply. Qualifying wager for wager entry must have minimum odds for any leg of the entry of at least minus 250 or worse American odds. So a wager at minus 251 does not qualify. Head to zensports.com/sweepstakes for contest terms and conditions. You got to be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
Three HL 1045 The Zone. What up, BC boys? Licensed to Ill 38 years ago. Paul Revere was my favorite song on that record, which was not one of the more popular songs, but it's true.
Mad respect for that deep pull. I mean, that's a pull.
Here's a little story I like to tell about three young brothers I know so well. It started way back in history with Ed Rock MCA and me. Brent D is what I always said.
Brent D.
Really Mike D. But,
yeah.
Anyway, I love that song. I like storytelling.
Sick, bro.
I like storytelling. 615-737-1045. You can watch the show live, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Thank you, Zeph. Evan and Bank Chat is open. 1045 The Zone High School Football Game of the Week features one of the best Middle Tennessee matchups each Friday. Tune in this Friday starting at 6:45 p.m. Central on 1045 The Zone to hear round 2 of the high school football playoffs. Thanks to Whataburger and Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. Will Bowling and Brad Hopkins on the call. In the borough, Blackman and Riverdale.
My neck of the woods.
Yeah, you can stop by and go see Will and B-Hop.
Well,
and some high school football.
Yeah, I could.
It's nice and chilly out there. Perfect football weather. I will be watching Mike Tyson.
Well, speaking of Friday Night Lights, did you see that they're thinking about rebooting the TV show Friday Night Lights?
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of people don't want that to happen because the original was so good.
Well, it's weird because they did the original show and then they had the movie, and everybody gets mixed up when you're talking about them. It's I don't know, but I loved all of it.
I never watched. This is going to be really bad on me. I never watched the TV show.
The TV show is really good.
I think I watched part of the first season. Anyway, and then we ended up on 3HL having Stacy I forget her name. But anyway, she worked at some place called the Landing Strip on that show.
She was on
3HL one time.
Isn't someone on the show love Connie Britton? Or is that old school?
Maybe that was Clay Travis.
Oh,
Clay
really?
Travis has a mad love affair with Connie Britton.
Okay, so she's great in it.
And then he ended up on a Southwest flight, sat next to her.
Oh my gosh, that's great. That is great.
Stacy Oristano, I think, is her name. Because her dad is the Cowboys play-by-play guy for their network. Or was.
Wow.
And so, we got to know him and then got to know her, and she came on the show. And Clay Travis was a huge Friday Night Lights
Stacy Oristano.
Stacy Oristano. See? Look at that.
The steel trap, bro.
I know. I hadn't thought about that.
Mindy Riggins.
Riggins. Yep.
There you go. Some other games. Louisiana Tech at Western Kentucky. Hilltoppers 7-2, tied for first in Conference USA, 11 a.m. CBS Sports Network. TSU plays at Gardner Webb tomorrow at 12:30. Eddie George has the Crew at 7-3. They've won 5 out of their last 6. Gardner Webb is 4-6, but they've won 3 out of 4. Austin Peay hosts Eastern Kentucky in Clarksville tomorrow at 1. Eastern Kentucky has won 3 in a row. The Govs have lost 2 out of 3. MTSU is off. Texas at Arkansas. Any way Arkansas can get into the college football chaos. Huge thing back in the day in the old Southwest Conference. Can the Hogs jump up and bite? Arkansas had a bye week after getting pummeled by Ole Miss, giving up 6 passing touchdowns and 562 air yards. Quinn Ewers licking his chops against the worst passing D in the SEC. Arkansas quarterback Taylor Green, special athlete, needs to get to work. We'll see.
How in the world
I will say
would Arkansas get in the playoff with 4 losses?
No, not in the playoff, but jump into the college football chaos.
Meaning by knocking off Texas.
Texas.
I was like, what?
Yeah, no. So the line in this game has gone from 16.5 to 13, which is interesting.
Listen, Texas hasn't beaten anybody, all right? They haven't beaten anybody.
That's why I picked them to win the SEC before the season started, that schedule.
And, dude, I'm telling you, they're going to get tested down the stretch here. So we'll see.
They got A&M to close out.
Yeah.
But this is a back in the day, huge rivalry game.
If Georgia dropped as much as they did losing to Ole Miss, how much would Texas drop if they lost to Arkansas?
Oh, I think this committee is on crack, dude. I don't think there's either rhyme nor reason with these dudes.
And we love talking about it because it's what we do. And we have 5 days during the week to fill. But at the end of the day, there's 2 more games. Everybody's got 2 or 3 left, and it's all going to be shuffled up at the end. There's going to be so much chaos down the stretch. And that's why 12 games, baby? What do we want to be like the FCS here, baby? Come on.
Number 22, LSU at Florida. LSU by 3.5, 2:30 ABC. Gators quarterback DJ Lagway is back after missing last week against Texas. Gators got hammered in Austin. LSU was awful, losing at home big to Alabama, 42-13. LSU's lost 2 in a row. Both need a bounce-back win. Garrett Nussmeier, LSU quarterback, has 6 turnovers in his last 6 quarters. And then number 23, Missouri at number 21, South Carolina. Props to Gamecocks coach Shane Beamer. I did not think this South Carolina team would be anything, but, man, these guys are fun to watch. They've won 3 in a row. I think they get this one too. Lenora Sellers, freshman quarterback for South Carolina, has been very good in his last 4 games. South Carolina 3-1 in those 4. The only loss coming at Alabama by 2 points. In the last 4 games, Sellers averaging 224 through the air, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception to go with 191 rush yards and another touchdown. Plus those edge rushers, man. Kyle Kennard, Dylan Stewart, 15 combined sacks. Looks like no Brady Cook at quarterback for Missouri. Go Cox in that one. 615-737-1045. Darrington in Georgia. Blood in the water pit coming up. Darrington, what's up?
What's happening, my brother? Listen, hey, before I get to this, because you know it's still Trash Talk Friday, and I got to say this, but before I get to that, tonight, Friday, the fight. Yeah. There's 7 undercard fights.
Oh, okay.
Please.
No.
2.
Wait, repeat that.
Please, what? You popped out.
Taylor versus Serrano 2. The first fight was epic. When you're talking about Mickey Ward and Arturo Gotti type, they go at it. So if you want to see a fight, please pay attention to this undercard. It's going to be something great.
Awesome.
All right, now that that's it, let's get to it. I know he's not here today, but I got to say it for him. Euro. Meantime.
What up?
I don't think Tennessee is going to win today is the point spread. That's about it.
You've got more confident as the week is going by,
Darrington. Where's all your Georgia boys, man? Nobody's calling in to say anything. Everybody's scared, got their tail between their legs, man.
Their little big tail.
I don't know. Maybe they went to the vet or something, but I don't know. But I'm going to stand for mine. 10 toes down, and we're going to ride this thing to the wheels fall off. Let's go, Georgia Bulldogs. Tennessee, y'all can be good some other time.
All right.
Good old right. Hey,
I love it. Call back on Monday. Either way, brother.
I got you, man. Have a good weekend. Be blessed. Stay safe.
Yep, you too, brother. Appreciate it. Now it's time.
Let's go!
We've got about 3 minutes left in our day.
All right, let's go, baby.
And we've got the blood in the water pick. It doesn't matter what happened last week, Mark.
Doesn't matter.
LSU,
it doesn't matter.
A 3-point underdog got hammered at home.
We do not hammer a single bet that we don't have 100% faith in, baby. And we going hunting. And not only are we going hunting, but we're going heads trimming. We're going heads trimming in Athens, baby.
Uh-oh.
The Tennessee Vols plus 9.5. I talked to Heupel this morning. Talked to Nico Iamaliava this morning.
Oh, what did those guys have to say?
Dante Thornton this morning.
Oh,
I told him, I said, hey, Dylan Stantz, I said, hey, bro, you know they're giving you 9.5 in Athens, Georgia? And they looked at me square in the eye. And they said, we don't want them, baby. We don't want them. Plus 270. It's going to hammer Carson back, baby. Norman Lott, the boys, James Pierce, they're going to shut down that run game first. They're going to make Georgia one-dimensional, and then they're going to get after Carson back. You think Texas 3 picks was fun? He going to throw 5 picks this weekend, baby. 9.5 plus 270. They're giving away money in Athens, baby. Hammer the money line. We going hunting.
There it is, blood in the water pick. Tennessee plus the 9.5. I'm going to go Vols 24-17.
Plus 270 money line is what you meant. Let's go, baby. Tell me how. Good old rock top. Woo! Rock top tent. Hey, listen, there it is. You'll always. If you don't agree, hey, listen.
You were very excited.
Find me a way. And my new favorite player on the team, Boo Carter. Hey, listen. Punt returns made a difference versus Mississippi State. He gonna get one against Georgia as well, baby. Don't you dare kick to Boo Carter. Don't you dare. Don't you dare kick to Boo Carter.
I've got Tennessee 24-21. 3-point win.
So the Vols give up more than 20 for the first time all season.
Yeah, I think they're angry. Georgia's angry, and they're going to come out. But I think Nico has finally gotten something rolling. You know, the concussion. What did he do after taking the hit in the Alabama game and going out? Came back and balled for two and a half games, basically.
Yep, 68% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 80 yards on the ground, 561 through the air.
I'm going Vols 27. Georgia Bulldogs 13, baby.
Oh, wow.
Let's go.
2 touchdown win on the road.
You want to give us 9.5? You take 9.5.
Listen,
you
man,
want 9.5.
It's going to be a fun Monday, and we will be here all day on the Zone reacting to the weekend of football, Titans, Vikings, all the college football activity. It's going to be fun. What a fun time of year, man. Appreciate y'all including us in your day, for listening, for participating. We do not take it for granted, nor do we take it lightly. Good night. Have a great night. God bless. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya unless you're Tyson Spears, Traylon Burks, and the little bulldoggies that are going to go home sad. Later.